Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexi Otts here, and we beat the Bucks. Whoa! Oh, call Immanuel, and see that his talent is real. That shots afar are made here. And to the Raptors winds will appear. Rejoice, rejoice, Immanuel. We shall come to see his contracts a deal. Yeah! Yeah! We saw the return of Immanuel Quickley. When Immanuel went, I was like, yes, we haven't seen Immanuel skip in so long. It was so cool to see the Quickley come back last night or yesterday for the first time in a long time to see Immanuel skipping up the court after a made three. Ooh-wee! You gotta love that. You got to love that. In some ways, this is very timely for our conversation with Nick's freak Milwaukee yesterday. He's asking, how are Quickley and Barrett doing on the team now? Well, go watch the highlights from yesterday, Milwaukee, and you can see what Immanuel Quickley is doing on the Raptors right now. Yeah, don't go look at RJ though. What a great team effort. Let's think about this. Scotty Barnes out for personal reasons, not available, not even there. An all-star, the guy who's the glue guy, a guy who's a leader for our team at both ends. He's the franchise player. Well, what happens? RJ Barrett is not hitting his shot. RJ Barrett's having a tough night. In fact, listen, I know people could come at RJ. People are going to come at RJ for the littlest mistakes. And if he's going to miss shots and have a bad night, for sure they're going to come after him. But why? Why are y'all coming after him? There's no reason to come after him. We won. We won the game. We win the game, it's hold your critiques because it don't matter if he shot that bad if we win the game, right? That's what I say. Because the only thing that the Raptors are trying to do to be successful is this. So lay off RJ. I mean, people are going to have dud games. People are going to have bad games here and there. That's what I'm going to say. So RJ's not playing well. Scotty's out. And, the Raptors, what's going to happen? Well, we're deep. We've got different guys. We've got things covered. We've got next man up. And we take care of business. And we win. That's what we got. Brandon, we got IQ. We got people to show up and do it. Just in case Scotty's not there. RJ's not hitting it. Yeah, we're going to figure it out. We're going to get that win. I was right about the game, but I was also right about how to beat the game because the Bucks had won 6 out of 7 before this game. The Bucks did have the favor of the referees early in the game, and they did play us very strongly. And it was a very even match for a while in the game. People were probably like watching that game like they don't have Giannis. They're not in the playoffs. How the hell are they running with us and even beating us in the first half? Because I told y'all, they've been playing very well. You can see how Kevin Porter Jr. is a scorer. You can see how there's the veteranness of Bobby Portis Jr. still running around on that team. They've got interesting pieces. They're not a very good team. And we beat them in a very specific way, which was awesome. Very, very awesome way how we beat them. We beat them in a way that we don't normally beat teams. And I think that's amazing. In fact, we saw a whole new dimension of the Raptors last night for the first time ever, which was very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. And that was we out-physicaled the Bucks. We out-muscled them. We outsized them. And we beat them with size last night, guys. That's crazy because that's not usually us. We're usually the smaller team, and we're getting a little bit more out-physicaled or out-hustled. In some ways, what we did to the Bucks yesterday is what the Knicks have done to us this season. We took the game from them physically. We manhandled them. And we had some very large lineups out there yesterday, which was weird, man. We saw a new lineup that was kind of intriguing. Yes, the Mamu Yak lineup is a very interesting lineup that has appeared since the All-Star break. It's basically when Sandro and Jakob are on the court together, and it's fun. It's fun. Well, what happens when you don't just have Sandro and Yak out there? You put Jamison Battle and Brandon Ingram out there with Jamal Shed as the point guard. That's a really big lineup. That's a really big lineup. That's like four power forwards in a point, three power forwards, a center, and a point guard. Like, seriously, you think about that lineup. Brandon Ingram's playing shooting guard. Yeah, because Jamison could be the shooting guard in your mind if you want, but one of them's shooting guard. It's either Jamison or Brandon or the shooting guard. It's more likely it's Brandon's the shooting guard. Jamison's the small forward, and Sandro's the power forward in that lineup. But that was a huge lineup. Were they getting outran and ran around in circles? Did it be a detriment to the Raptors yesterday? No. For whatever reason, that certain lineup that Doc Rivers had out there, they weren't fast enough to go around us and really utilize speed against that size we put out there. No, that size was getting up and down the court just fine and covering everything. And wow, Brandon Ingram at the 2. Hello, that's crazy. That's pretty impressive stuff. Brandon Ingram at the 2 because the team's so big. Amazing win yesterday, and a rout just in time for Coach Darko on his birthday. Happy birthday, Coach. Your team loves you. They're going to rout the Bucks for you real quick, make you feel loved and appreciated by getting a good effort in there and taking care of business correctly. See, that's another thing. They took my advice yesterday. Don't take this team lightly. Don't come out there like it's going to be a cruise on the lake or a walk in the park. No. They didn't take the Bucks lightly, and they took them seriously, and that's why they beat their ass and won. If they hadn't taken them seriously, they might have lost. But no, they were business. They were professional. That's what they're saying after this game yesterday. This was a professional win by the Toronto Raptors over the Milwaukee Bucks. I have to agree. I'm very impressed with it because, like I said, this could have been a trap game. Josh Tiven, Jenna Schroeder, Jason Goebel, they're not our friends. And in some ways, they weren't being our friends yesterday, but in some ways they had to, ref the game correctly. And, well, the Raptors won. There's no way of ref manipulating that game to a win for the Bucks. No. There isn't. Yeah. Doc Rivers and the players of the Bucks said that we were so physical, we manhandled them. And that, Doc was like, I don't know how to do this with this. And it's like, there's going to be some tape. Some of the Bucks players, I forget who it was, maybe it was Cam Thomas, because I did listen to all their interviews yesterday, was saying that, the Raptors play a certain way where they're going to foul so much and the refs can't call all the fouls. That's true to an extent. That Doc Rivers said, yeah, Darko used to coach underneath Billy Donovan, and Billy Donovan in Oklahoma City had that philosophy. They can't call all the fouls, so go ahead and foul like crazy all over the place, and they'll only be able to call some of them. Well, that may be true. A lot of teams do employ this tactic, be so physical and actually foul people a lot, but the refs aren't going to call every single foul. And especially in today's NBA where we're morphing into more FIBA physicality and like foul calling, because that's the difference that's happened in the last 2 years, is that the NBA on the down low is secretly transforming into more like the FIBA by allowing way more contact underneath the basket than ever. Not than ever. They did allow this contact back in the 80s and the 90s, and it kind of went away, having contact near the basket. But now they're showing it again. And I really do feel like this is partly Adam Silver's concerted effort to line up the rules with the NBA with the international rules a little bit more closely, so that when he does his NBA Europe, they can be a little bit more on the same page. So, that's going to be the way it is, where refs are instructed not to call a lot of the stuff that happens near the basket and little ticky-tack stuff. Well, you can do a lot more that would have been a foul 5 years ago at this point, and you won't get caught. You won't get in trouble. Whether it's a little bit of a shove with your body, not even with your arms, while some post guy is trying to do something with a shot and around, you can nudge them a little bit, knock them off their shot a little bit. You won't get a foul. you could hack a little bit on them, and if it's not too blatant and right in their face, they won't call a foul. So, why wouldn't Darko and the Raptors employ a strategy of foul a lot? And you get a foul here and there that's going to happen. Yeah, yeah, it's smart. Nick Nurse did the same thing while he was the coach of the Raptors before too. A lot of people do this in the league right now. So yeah, physicality, name of the game, physicality. Raptors out physical the Bucks yesterday. Let's go look at the chat. We've got the stars of the game. We've got the Instagram stories. We've got the classic card of the day, all coming to you today on the Raptor Freak stream every single day. We're going to talk about this game. If you guys want to call me about the game, you can call me on the phone if you have the number. There is a call in today because it is a reaction stream. And, you guys may want to opine and speak on what you saw in the game against Milwaukee yesterday. And I'd love to hear your opinions. If you can't call me on the phone because you don't have the number or you just can't call today, go ahead and put it in the comments. We'll talk about it there too. So let's get going on this today. All right, we got Trevor J. first in the chat as usual. The commissioner of fun, Trevor J, is the dude. He is the man. That is our guy. Platform artist. That's right. Let's see what he's saying here. We're watching IQ grow more and more every time he's on the court with offense and defense. Yes. There's a real maturity to Immanuel. And, Darko had one of the highest compliments that you could give a player last night in the post-game conference. He said, in 29 years of my coaching, I've never had a player so disciplined. And this is what he means about Immanuel. It's not just the stuff he's doing basketball-wise. It's not just the dribble drills, the strength training, the shooting, everything, the details of everything, whether how he handles the ball, how he cuts, everything. He has detailed on everything, whether it's his nutrition, whether it's things in his lifestyle, whether it's, everything he does is a routine. In some ways, he's like SGA because SGA is like that too, right? SGA is a creature of habit. He has a very, very specific routine in a very, very specific way. He does everything. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Well, Immanuel Quickley is of that type, and it pays off. You can see how it turns into steadiness. It's like they asked Immanuel last night. It was dumb. It was a Michael Grange question, of course. He asked him, it's like, oh, Immanuel, at the beginning of the game, it's just you weren't really on, and then you started to come on fire. And then Immanuel he's like, man, when I come into the game, I'm always ready and on fire and ready right from the start. It's not a switch on or anything like that. I just come in and I'm ready. I'm aggressive, and I'm going out there and getting it. He's like, how dare you, Michael Grange, say that I ease into the game, or maybe I don't shoot very well. I come in and then I get going. No. That's not the way I look at it. I come in my mindset aggressively, already ready and on fire. Yeah. Because this is the thing, man. Nephews and casuals. You may think that Immanuel Quickley is this and that and that and this. But the truth about Immanuel is he's a hardworking NBA professional. He's now a starting point guard in the NBA. And he is honing his craft. And that's part of the reason why he's getting better every day, just like what Trevor's saying. Is because he is going the way like the SGA way, where he has a very specific routine, very specific nutrition, very specific life. And everything he does in his life, whether it's personal or private or public and on the court, is to be the best Immanuel Quickley he can be as an NBA player. And that's awesome. That's a true pro right there, because he's investing in his body and mind and spirit and soul to be in the best setting as a person so that he can be at his best when he's on the court wearing the Raptors red jersey. And you gotta love that, Raptors freaks, because that means that man's dedicating his life to basketball and to himself and to win. And I respect him and I love him for it. I really, really do. Immanuel Quickley, Reddit has to apologize to you. And I'm sure a lot of people on there are still saying, like, y'all needed to shut up about Immanuel this season. Look at what he's doing now. That's right. Scotty's out. Immanuel's stepping up. This goes to show, nephews and casuals, that, Not the same guy has to have the big point for the night. The first game after All-Star break was Brandon, right? He got a 30-plus game. Last night it was Immanuel. And it's not going to be every night that one guy is going to have the same stat line every night. You know, Immanuel may go out there and get 6 points against Oklahoma City. You going to be mad at him for that when he won the game for us on Sunday? Because that's what I'm saying, casuals. Understand there's ups and downs throughout the season. And as long as we get that W, I don't give a shit who has an off game. I don't give a shit. Somebody has to come up and have a good game, yes, and catch the baby from the burning building. But, you know, otherwise, you know, there's going to be a level of performance that goes back and forth between bad to good and medium for all the players in every game. Just as long as we're getting that standard of quality for the group overall that adds up to winning and that W, that's all we should care about. You guys want to get nitpicky and get your fucking microscopes out and put people underneath the microscope from the game last night? Science lab, you go ahead, but it's worthless because it's stupid because we won. Why are you doing that? And not only did we win, we routed them. It wasn't even close. You know, we broke their spirit to a degree. At some point, the Bucks announcers were like, yeah, well, this doesn't the way we wanted it to go. And then they started glazing us for the rest of the game. This Toronto team is so good. Darko has done such a good job building this team up. Marquez Johnson, NBA great, saying all this stuff. At one point, Mamu hit a 3, and Marquez Johnson said, Mamu said, I'm your dadu. I'm like, this is the Bucks announcer saying that. I mean, he was a Buck at one point, and they do love Sandro Mamukelashvili in Milwaukee. But for the Bucks announcer to say that after Sandro Mamu hits a big 3 late in the game that absolutely is just crushing the Bucks, he says, Marquez Johnson goes, Sandro Mamu said, I'm your dadu. Mamu, I'm your dadu. And there were some funny points to this game. Giannis is hilarious, man. Y'all, I love Giannis. It's official. Giannis Antetokounmpo we may never win the Giannis sweepstakes here in Toronto, but I don't give a shit, man. That dude is awesome. That dude is just a good dude, man. You guys may not have seen this because I was watching the Bucks broadcast, and they had a little kid sitting at courtside that beat cancer. This is a really heartwarming story. He's like sitting there with a sign saying, clap for me, I beat cancer. And he's sitting right next to the Bucks bench. And it's just heartwarming. And well, at one point they showed Giannis going over to him and interacting with him and saying, hey, buddy, and like just being cool, you know. It's like this is a kid who had cancer who beat it. And it's like, you know, that's some heavy stuff. And Giannis is just like being so fun with him. And then at one point he high fives the kid. And then he goes his hand. He's like, ow, ow. And then he says to the parents and the kid, now I'm out for 4 more weeks. He's so funny, man. That's so fucking funny, man. Giannis, you're hilarious, bro. You said to that kid, I'm now, ow. He high-fived the kid, and he held his hand afterwards. He said, now I'm out for 4 more weeks. Ow, ow. That dude is funny, man. It's like, wait, the Bucks fans were like, no. And Marcus Johnson's like, don't joke about that, Giannis. Man, and it comes though, man. I love you, bro. I love you, man. You're always gonna be a badass, man. What a legend. What a likable superstar in this league. What a face of this league. What a face of this league, man. The dude is awesome. His brother getting in at the end of the game. Well, we gave the fans what they wanted, apparently, because the fans went crazy when Thanasis got in there, man. And he even made a shot over Grady at one point, which the fans go crazy for him, man. That's awesome. Yeah. I'm glad that the Raptors could provide the entertainment of Thanasis coming in the game late, Bucks fans, because we beat you so bad, you got to put him in the game. All right, let's keep going with the chat. Trevor's brought up some sad news, and I'm going to have to be honest here. I don't know who this person is. You know, I have big holes in my history of the WNBA, and this is probably someone who won a championship in the period where I didn't watch. So he's saying that WNBA champion Cara Braxton has passed away at the age of 43. That sucks. I hate to hear that. It is in the Instagram story, so let's go ahead and do that. It's Monica Wright Rogers has posted this, a picture of Miss Braxton with a child and holding a championship trophy. It looks like she played on Detroit Shock. Yeah, that's sad. I hate to hear that. That's a very young age to pass away at 43. So we're going to say rest in power, rest in peace to Cara Braxton, and condolences to the WNBA family and all those affected, her friends and family. Yeah, that sucks. I hate to hear that, man. I really, really do. There's some video of the guys in the the line for the anthems at Milwaukee, and somebody's filming James Wade because he's his buddy. And let's see, there's his buddy there. He's like, yeah, I'm with James Wade. Let's see what else we got. Zach Edey is mourning the passing of Rondale Moore, the player for the Arizona Cardinals, that certain NBA players have been mourning also. Chris Boucher has got some important words of wisdom for us today. He's saying this: mental health is real, depression is real, suicide is real. Always check up on the people you love. And you know what? I'm going to write him a message right now. Chris, Raptors Nation loves you. Please come home. And be safe. All right, I wrote that. Raptors Nation loves you. Please come home and be safe. That's what I wrote him. There you go. Yeah, because I don't know. You don't need to be in the States. Go on home, Chris, because you don't need to be down there right now. Seriously. You don't need to be there for whatever reason, you know. Let's see. Colin Murray-Boyles got the team photo from yesterday, which is pretty cool. I love that team photo. Those guys are hilarious, man. Trace is smiling big, and Colin's in the back with his eyes closed, and Immanuel with the chain. Of course, he got the chain last night. Yeah, this is a fun picture. Eugene Roy is hilarious, man. They won. This is the crazy thing. Baskonia just won. They're the champions, the Copa del Rey Valencia 2026. They won this championship, and it's like Eugene and Kobe Simmons is on this team too, and Marquise Noel. Like all these former Raptors 905 guys just won the Spanish championship. So it's pretty funny. Eugene... This is kind of funny, man. He's at the airport and he's trying to leave Spain, and he's going through the metal detector. Yeah, at the airport, and it goes off. And he says, "Oh, my bad." And he pulls out a trophy out of his pocket. He pulls out the little trophy for winning this championship. And he's like, "Oh, my bad. I forgot I had my championship trophy in my pocket," and it set off the airport metal detector. Hilarious stuff, Eugene. And hilarious that they let you film this. They never let you do this in states at this point with their crazy totalitarian weirdness. They'd be like, "What do you want to do?" "I want to film this or a funny skit on my TikTok. Can I walk through the metal detector and then show a championship?" "Oh, yeah, that's fun. Thank you for winning the championship. Do that. It's fun." No kind of goofiness. So, yeah, that's pretty funny that Canadian, Nigerian, Eugene Omoruyi is a champion for Baskonia, and he's setting off metal detectors at the airport. Hilarious stuff, Eugene. And there they are on the plane. Look at them. They're grooving in the airport. They're dancing. They're feeling good. They're champions. Let's go. There's the cup. He's kissing it. There you go. So happy. You go on with your blessed life, Eugene Omoruyi. You go on there. Yeah, what a fun crew, man. Marquise Noel, Kobe Simmons, Eugene Omoruyi. Congratulations, guys. Yeah, there's an action photo of them on the plane flying, and we see Kobe Simmons kind of sitting in the back, kind of sleeping in this one. Very, very cool stuff, man. Yeah, they're so happy. I love to see former Raptors 905 guys like Kobe Simmons and Eugene Omoruyi so happy because they're champions. That is just awesome, man. That's so good. Lindsey Dunn still down in Dunedin with the Blue Jays, talking the Blue Jays stuff. I've been posting different Blue Jays interviews that Lindsey Dunn has been doing on our Discord server. If you guys want to go see that. Jacoby with the score from last night on his Instagram and some action photos like him on the ground fighting for the ball with the Chicago Bulls the other day. Yeah, what is there to complain about? It was that Jacoby's saying right now. What is there to complain about? He's got his family and friends around him after the game, and he's got big smiles. And that's awesome. I love that. I love that so much. Jacoby, you keep staying in the flow, man. You're doing everything right now, my guy. Just keep doing what you're doing. It's working. Coach Andrew Jones has got a nice picture of him and his son. The way you look at your daddy when he wins 2 road games back to back. That's right. That's right. Those 2 games against Windy City Bulls were classic games. And those are historic games for Andrew Jones and his career. And honestly, I'm going to remember those 2 games for the rest of my life too, as the Mac McClung Glazer games. And they're just fun games. 141 2 times in a row. Let's go, Andrew Jones. That's what I'm saying right there. Yeah, that's the way his son would look at his dad after that. That's right. That's right. Let's see what else. His son is grown a little bit more, and he's doing dribbling, ball handling drills while his sisters work out. That's what he's saying there. Sandro Mama with the entry picture of him and his hood, and there's the team photo with the chain after the game where they won. There's a cool play where Shed dumps off the ball to Mamu and hits the 3. Yeah, Coach Darko was hilarious after the game. He told the press that, the Raptors could not hit a fucking 3 in the first quarter. It was crazy. And the Bucks announcers were annoying about it. The lady announcer was like really snide about it. Well, the Raptors can't shoot any threes. They're one of the worst 3-point shoot teams in the league. And saying all this crap. And she was just pissing me off. And so I turned down the volume because I didn't want to listen to her. And then right at the end of the first quarter, Sandro hits a 3 right at the buzzer. And Darko went up to him apparently after he hit that 3. He said, "Thank you for the birthday present, Sandro." He's like, he needed a 3 to go down, and Darko took that 3 that Sandro hit at the end of the first as a birthday present. He's like, "Thank you for the birthday present, Sandro," because man, he needed somebody to start hitting 3s, and the 3-point shot did become important in that Bucks game yesterday because we barraged them with 3s at a certain point and really took off on them in the second half. So, yeah, he needed somebody to open up the 3-point shooting, and he was saying thank you for the birthday present to Sandro. There's Immanuel getting the chain on his Instagram. He looks so joyous. This is a glory to God, man. And just the joy and the love in your life, the abundance, Immanuel Quickley, is all God's plan. Let's just put it that way. It's all God's plan, my guy, what's happening with you. And he's posted a graphic of him and Brandon combining for 54 points in the game yesterday, 32 for Immanuel and 22 for Notorious B3. Yeah, there's Norman Powell with his child outside in the sun in Miami, kissing his child's forehead. That's very cute. And then we got Fred in a boxing ring. We know that Freddie has been doing a lot of boxing training with his new friend Mark. And, there's Freddie putting in the boxing stuff. Kez got a black eye from being there doing boxing stuff one day, and they were joking with him on one of the Unguarded podcasts. But, yeah, here's some footage of Fred VanVleet doing his boxing training and sparring and what he's doing in that realm. He looks like he's got a nice right. He looks like he's got one that could get you and rock you pretty good right there. That's right. We see Kelly Olynyk doing a jersey swap with some guy named Nelson. I don't know. He looks like a soccer player. He doesn't look like a basketball player. He doesn't look big enough. Let's see. Who else do we have in here? I don't need to do that one. Is this any of this interesting? No, we don't need to do that. Oh, that's good. That's good. That's the Instagram stories for today. There you go. Yeah, Eugene Marui, you're hilarious, bro. He sets off the metal detector at the airport in Spain. And then he's like, "Oh, yeah, I forgot. There's a trophy, and it's like this big." His pocket. It's like, oh, man, you're supposed to take your phone and your keys and your wallet out when you get to those things at the airport, Eugene. And don't forget your championship trophy. Oh, Trevor J's words of wisdom. Every day we get another chance to do better, to choose differently, to pray more. It's these small things, habits that shape the future you're walking into. Stay consistent with the right things, and you will build a life that you're proud of. Yeah. Yeah. They always have that saying, it's like habits become, regular, and then regular becomes who you are. So watch what your habits are, right? Because habits become your actions and your daily routines. and then what your daily routines and what you do become who you are, right? Yeah, I get that. Blessings to the Jones family and all the Raptor Freak families. That's right. That's right. Trevor J saying Raptors classic beatdown over Milwaukee, IQ and Ingram from the principal and the teacher. The principal and the teacher? Are you saying, nah, we ain't trying to put corporal punishment back in schools? That shit was wrong. I'm going to tell you right now. No, we ain't having no principals and teachers beating down students. No. That's a slide in the wrong direction. Trust me, because that's been utilized in punitive ways against people that in unfair ways. Let's just put it that way. I saw it firsthand in the United States growing up in Florida, in Tallahassee, in public schools in the 80s. Yeah, certain students had to go and get corporal punishment more often than other certain students. So we ain't doing this. No. We're not doing no classic beatdowns by principals and teachers. No, sir, we're not. I will ixnay on the okay on this ote. All right. Yeah. Isaac Campbell saying IQ but times 5. I love it. I love it. Call 5 times if you have to. Call 5 for a 3 if it has to be. This is what I'm saying. You see? That's what I'm saying right there. Call 5. Just call 5. That's all you need to do. All right. And listen, Raptors fans, can we allow Immanuel Quickley to be himself? Do you see who he is? Can we appreciate him and love him and trust him that, you know, Immanuel's going to try and do the right things to help our team? I mean, this is the thing. We could talk to Milbester and the Immanuel Quickley he remembers that played for the Knicks. And he could tell you, yeah, Immanuel was very aggressive and scoring and shooting and doing a lot of stuff, but that's about it. You know, we got to understand Immanuel may get steals, but he's taking threes and driving the basket. He's not trying to distribute as much. He's not trying to play defense as much. And that's the thing. Immanuel Quickley is a more well-rounded player as a Toronto Raptor at this point than he was when he left the New York Knicks to come to our team. And we're getting the dividends for it. You know, because look, he can have a 30-plus game like he did yesterday. But if he's not playing defense, what is that worth? It's not as worth as much, right? But he's playing defense, but also getting 30 points. And not only that, he's getting his teammates involved too. That's winning basketball. That's playing both sides of the floor. And in some ways, just like RJ Barrett, the two Knicks are playing both sides of the floor more than ever in their careers. And that's what I'm saying. You know, a 30-point game is great, but if we ain't stopping them at the other end and they're scoring just as much as us and a little bit more, they're winning. So I love it. This is an important balance. And the fact that Immanuel could get a 30-point game and still have the output and the very up-on-you defense on the other end is showing he's evolving and he's getting better as a player. And I love that. I love that so much, man. Randolph's here. Good morning, Randolph Phillips. Blessings, beloved Raptor freaks. Family blessings. Find those things that are honorable, just, pure, lovely, commendable, excellent, and worthy of praise. And think about these things. Yeah, thinking about what's worthy of praise, being a hero, doing something not for yourself, but for everybody else, doing something to stand up against injustice, doing something to be brave in the face of where some people are trying to scare you and tell you you shouldn't. Doing all this kind of stuff is service for humanity right now, because we have to fight and resist in different ways right now. And some of it will be very blanketly, I'm out in the street protesting with a sign, resisting. And some of it may be, I'm not spending money with this company. Some of it may be, I'm checking on my neighbor next door because I'm worried about her and she's by herself. You know, there's all kinds of different ways we can do things to help each other in this age that's coming right now. So seek for these places where you can be worthy of praise for your service to the human race and humanity and living creatures in general. That's what I say right there. You know, I'm not praising nobody for making $1 billion. To me, you seem like a crook if you got there. Somehow, some way, you utilize the system in an ugly way to amass such a wealth. And I'm not hating on rich people. I don't care. I don't want to be rich myself. That's not what this is. It's just that I don't trust nobody that's made that much money. They've had to have done it on the backs of the people and the degradation of the land. And in some ways, that's what I'm saying. I don't praise people for that. These people that glaze rich people and say, oh, Elon Musk, he's so cool. He's so this and that. Fuck that motherfucker. That motherfucker's a criminal, and that motherfucker's stealing money from all the people and the way he's doing his stuff. So that's not to praise. These aren't people to praise. The person to praise is the person at your Meals on Wheels, answering the phone and talking to old people and keeping them feeling okay and knowing that their food's coming. The person that you should praise is the young man that held the door at the mall for the elderly disabled lady who's trying to come inside. That's the people you should be praising, not Elon Musk, not any of these jokers that got all this money and crooked ways. That's what I say right there. Blessings to the Phillips family and all the Raptor Freak families. That's right, man. People that look up to the extremely rich, you're idiots. They're the criminals that taking the money from you. Trevor J saying this, today is Andrew Wiggins' birthday. Well, happy birthday to Canadian Andrew Wiggins. In some ways, you know, he's Canadian, so I guess that will fit in the channel, but I'm not trying to do everybody's birthday in the NBA. And well, all right, we'll do that for Maple Jordan. Happy birthday to, Vaughn's Andrew Wiggins. Yeah, happy birthday. Happy birthday to him. Why not? Shaq Lindsay, good morning to you, and thank you for supporting this channel, and thank you, Isaac, also for doing it too. Was that AI or IQ I was watching last night? No, I'm not talking about the AI that's taken over. I'm talking about the legend, Allen Iverson. Immanuel Quickley made us look like geniuses for supporting him. Yeah. I mean, we're a little ahead on this channel. We always have been. In the 4 years we've been here, we're seeing things ahead of people, maybe a month or two. Yeah. I said last summer in the middle of July that the Raptors would be a top 4 seed in the East, and everybody laughed at me because a lot of people were saying, oh, they're going to be out of the playoffs. They'll be in the play-in, all this shit. No, I'm like, motherfuckers, they're going to be a top 4 seed in the East because nobody's paying attention to what Brandon Ingram does to push the needle. And that in some ways, that's just looking at things in insight. Well, the thing with Immanuel is you could have seen what we've seen, and it's just we're good fans. We want to support our guy, and we want him to succeed. We want him to be as good as possible so that we win games like yesterday, right? So I was like, the whole energy against Immanuel at the beginning of the season was so stupid to me. And in some ways, I knew all those people would look dumb by the end of the season. I really did. Immanuel said something nice for RJ last night in his interview because he feels what's going on with RJ right now. And it's basically like, even though RJ has been back from his injury for a few games right now, he's still getting back into his rhythm. He's still getting back into his legs under him and playing games. And his rhythm was obviously off yesterday with his shots and just not making anything. And Immanuel said, this was me last year. I was hurt a lot last year. And it was hard for me to get my rhythm correct and feel a nice, consistent kind of thing in the season at the end of last year when I came back from missing a good part of the year. So he's feeling things for RJ right now because he can identify with him. And in some ways, does that inform Raptors Nation about overreacting to bad games? Because sometimes people need some time to get back into the rhythm and get their legs under them. Maybe it's Yak right now. Maybe it's RJ right now. Maybe it was IQ last season, and maybe overreacting to periods where they're transitioning back to being their full selves again are the worst time to judge them and say, this is who this person is. If anybody was making declarations about Immanuel Quickley about the end of the season last year, you're an idiot. And this year, he having been mostly healthy this whole entire year, you see it better right now. This is the real Immanuel right now. And I love Shaq Lindsay and people like us that stood by him this whole time. Because in some ways we look like, first of all, we're good fans for standing with our dudes through hard times. And second of all, we are more astute and on the level with seeing what's actually happening. Some say we're Glazers. We're going to overhype them and say, oh, no, we're saying they're way better than they are. No, fuck that. Nah, I'm giving them their just due that everybody should. And it just looks like I'm overglazing them because the rest of the NBA world is just ignores us so much. And it makes Raptors Nation feel like these Raptors don't deserve any favor or compliments or any kind of credit. I'm just giving them their due credit. And to a lot of people, because they're conditioned a certain way, it looks like I'm glazing them. No, I'm not. I'm not glazing them. I'm just saying straight up what they did and what they accomplished. And that's what's going on here. That's right. Shaq Lindsay saying, I think there is no question who gets more playing time between Dick and Jacoby. Yeah, it's separating at this point. Baji getting traded opened up a little bit more of the slice of the pie in the rotation and the contributions for the Raptors. And Jacoby is getting it. He's getting it, and he's being consistent. And there's a whole level of confidence with him that's coming in right now that's different than his rookie year last year. In some ways, the confidence of how he plays on defense is going into the other stuff. Marquez Johnson said last night, Jacoby Walter is not the greatest three-point shooter, but he is somebody you need to pay attention to and respect when he gets left open. Yeah, and that's true, man. Jacoby, if he gets an open three, I feel good about him making it, right? Don't you guys? Yeah, I feel bad for Grady, but I'm not giving up on Grady still. And I will say this, even if Grady hasn't had the most illustrious games recently, he is busting his ass, and he's getting out there, and he's trying his damnedest. So keep doing that, Grady. Good things will start to happen again, but man, I know it's been a tough year for you, my guy. And I want to see you succeed. I really do. I really, really do. So let's not totally give up on Dick. Yeah, that sounded more. Let's not give up on Grady. And let's, let's still encourage him and hope that he can get something going still. That's right. Yeah, I am shaked. I am shaked. What a game. Good to see you back in the chat. I am shaked. And once again, thank you for the subscription. That's right. Shaq Lindsay saying was so impressed with Jacoby's performances. Yeah, his performance. Yeah, he's been solid these two games since the All-Star break against the Bulls and the Bucks, and I'm very proud of him too. I love that we've won all our games since the All-Star break. Both games for Windy City in the 905, and then the two games with the Raptors. So we're 4-0 since the All-Star break so far between the two clubs. Well, we get a double W possibility tomorrow. And we will be previewing a G League game where the Raptors 905 at College Park Skyhawks. And, of course, the Raptors are hosting the Oklahoma City Thunder tomorrow. The champs in Toronto, but no SGA, just so you all know. Yeah, so these are going to be good. Some good tests coming up this week with a back-to-back with Oklahoma City and San Antonio on Tuesday and Wednesday coming up. Yeah! These will be tests. I hope Scott's back as soon as possible. Scotty, you can't be out for these two games, my guy. And I know whatever's going on with you, I just hope it's something that's good and not bad. And I hope that just bless, man. Bless and protect Scotty Wayne Barnes. That's all I got to say. Just I hope he's all right. That's all I care about, you know. And come back soon. Come back soon. All right, let's see. Shaq Lindsay saying with Yak back, our bench is looking deep, especially on the defensive end. Shed, Jacoby, Colin, and Sandro. Notice that I didn't mention Dick. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting who's getting the playing time right now. You know, I would have thought we'd play TJD more, but in some ways, I don't know. And also, wasn't it interesting who they started yesterday? Colin didn't start yesterday. They started Jacoby and Yak instead. Yak at the center and Jacoby instead of Scotty, right? I think that much like young people on Reddit were getting too ahead of themselves with the whole idea that Colin's just a starter over Jakob right now, Darko was making y'all realize that something yesterday. Yeah, that nothing's for sure. And just because you feel like he's earned it already, he's got it already, that doesn't mean he's got it. Who knows? Maybe Colin came back from All-Star weekend and a little bit different of an energy around him and kind of like this. And Darko's a little bit like, yeah, let me show you, you know, you need to check your ego. I don't know. I'm trying to speculate. Why would he bench Colin in this situation? Because he, you know, maybe it's because he wanted these guys in different places where it's like you don't start Yak with Colin because these are kind of your top two centers, right, at this point. And so you need another guard instead. So you start Jacoby. I mean, it was an interesting decision. You know, a lot of people had already decided, oh, Colin Murray-Boyles is starting forever now. Going forward, he's just going to be the starter. Nope. Coach reserves the choice to put out who he wants to put out for the starting lineup, and don't get it twisted, people. Unless your name is RJ, Scotty, Immanuel, or Brandon, you're not guaranteed a starting spot. Let's just put it that way. And I'll even say that for Jakob. Seriously. But yeah, it is. There does seem like there's a lot of depth on our team all of a sudden, doesn't there, Shaq Lindsay? You know, we've got choices. We've got big man choices. I mean, we got a guy on the bench named Trace that we could have played yesterday on his birthday. We barely did. He came in and made a basket on his birthday in garbage time. But otherwise, we didn't lean on him at all. And if you think about how much our needs for a big man were a couple months ago, and to the fact that now we're at this point where we're running a lineup of Jakob, Sandro, Jamison, Brandon, and Shed, and they looking like tall ass team. Hey, yeah, the depth seems to be here all of a sudden, for sure. For sure. And we didn't even have Scott. It's crazy, man. Yeah, I love that. I love that so much, man. Fiercely saying, good morning, fam, and happy Monday. I was nervous in the first quarter, but Darko's adjustments put us back up. Jakob didn't score a lot, but his presence was absolutely helpful. Baby steps in his recovery. Yes. Yes, that's very astute. In fact, Darko said that Jakob was great yesterday. Nephews and casuals will look at his stat line and say, he's horrible. Why are we even playing him? He's already broken. He can't play in the league anymore. That's not what I saw. That's not what I saw. And that's not what Immanuel said either after the game. Man, Yak makes everybody better. It's just such a joy to play with him out there. And didn't you see some of the plays with Immanuel and Yak? Like there's a play that they did down the lane where Yak basically, and Immanuel just swirled around him like this little pattern. And Yak moves towards the basket, and Immanuel's going around him, using him as a screen like crazy. Easy layup. Easy layup. Nobody near him. It's just like that. That's what I'm saying. That man is a wall, and they can screen off him in so many great ways. Forget about how much he scored. Just imagine how much freedom and openness he gave to shooters on our team by just being a panel for people to slough off their defender. There's a lot of that going on in the game, and educated basketball fans can see it and appreciate it and say, yeah, it's my Yak. I'm so glad he's back. You know, and not to mention the rim protection and the rebounding and all kinds of other stuff that he does, like Immanuel said, doesn't show up on the box score. There's a lot of things that Pearl is offering and doing that nobody else on our team can do that is not on the regular box score, but on the shadow box score. And you don't see it. Whether it's intimidating people going to come to this side of the basket because he can block their shot, so they can't come that way all of a sudden. Whether it's him putting his big Austrian body in the way of the guy who's trying to guard Immanuel, and he just got him off of him because he just peeled him off with just a standing there. I'm telling you, man. Real ones will understand the importance of Jakob Poeltl and what he gives to our team and how he helps us win. Casuals will look at his stat line and say he sucks. Fiercely saying this, RJ didn't have a great offensive night either, but his defense was tremendous. Yesterday, IQ and BI were the scorers, and the team contributed to the W. Doc Rivers said we completely dominated them. Yeah, we did. We did. Yeah, Doc Rivers wanted to talk about the hockey game before the game, talk about USA and Canada, and giving his expertise on that hockey game and saying all kinds of stuff. And then after the game, he was just a wounded man talking about how we dominated them and muscled them around and threw them around and just beat their ass. Yep. Yeah, I love that. I love hearing that from these guys, these the Bucks players and their coach, Doc Rivers, that they just outmuscled us. They used their size on us. That's not something I've heard from opposing coaches about the Raptors and what they did to them very often in the last, like, I don't know, ever. Have we ever heard about the Raptors outmuscling and outsizing the other team as the advantage to win the game? That's not been common in our Raptors history because usually we're undersized and we may not even have a center. So I love all that. I do. Yeah. Fiercely saying our physicality, hell yeah. Even the refs could no longer help them. We were too dominant. Also, we had 34 assists versus 18 for them. Our ball movement was great. Yeah, that's our signature. That's important. That's part of what makes us all for one for all, win for all. That's part of what, you know, keeps the guys so chummy and so happy because they all know they're going to get it if they share it, and they do share it. Other teams will get into that Gary Trent Jr. mode like the Bucks, and they don't derive better shots because they're not playing off each other. Our team plays off each other on offense. And at one point, Marquez Johnson said they're just toying with us at this point. I think it was that little play that I was talking about earlier. Actually, it was a play with RJ and Jakob late in the game where RJ took screens off Jakob and got a really easy layup off of a give and go. Yeah, it was kind of like RJ had the ball. He passed it to Yak in the post, and RJ did a little cut, and Yak just dumped it off to him, and it was an easy layup. And at that point, Marquez Johnson said, they're just toying with us now. I love that, man. It's true. We were just toying with them later in the game because we were kicking their ass so bad. So let's do the stars of the game right now, guys. Obviously, the chain getter, the number one star of the game is Immanuel. I mean, we don't – that's just it. It's for real. 31 minutes, 32 points. Hello. 11 of 19 shooting. I'm telling you, man, this dude is good. He's good. You say he looks like Allen Iverson. Man, that dude looks like Immanuel Quickley. That's right. And Darko said this after the game. He really, truly believes Immanuel has modes that are much higher than he's doing right now. And I love that. That's the development coach saying that he has a vision for Immanuel Quickley that's beyond the Immanuel Quickley that we see now. And he has other levels he's going to get to. You know, this could be a la Maxey kind of stuff. We'll have to see, guys. We'll have to see. We should be very happy and proud that Bobby Webster and Masai Ujiri traded OG to get Immanuel Quickley and RJ Barrett, because both those guys have levels higher, stunted growth, and you're going to see it. You're going to see it. They're going to grow higher than what they were in New York. 5 of 11 from 3, 5 of 5 at the free throw line, 3 rebounds, 9 assists with 1 turnover. See, he did that point guard shit even with the scoring. 9 assists with 1 turnover. That's a point guard too. So that man was balancing both as a combo guard. He got his, but he damn for sure got his other guys in charge around him involved too, right? 1 steal, a plus 12. You got to love that, man. That's just a great all-around game by Immanuel. I mean, the other team's announcers were starting to look up his all-time high of 40 earlier this season and saying, oh, he could go for his all-time high. Yeah, he didn't try to. He wasn't aggressive to do that. He was playing within the system for what the team needed. He wasn't selfish and saying, I'm going to go beat my career high. No, he's not like that. My second star of the game is Brandon. Obviously, there's a 1-2 punch of those two guys. Brandon Ingram, 31 minutes, 22 points on 8 of 17 shooting. So just under 500. 2 of 6 from 3, 4 of 6 from the free throw line. 2 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 turnovers, 2 blocks, and a plus 10. Once again, and this is what I'll say about all 3 of those guys. Immanuel, RJ, and Brandon are playing the best defense of their lives under Darko this year. Brandon Ingram is coming up on people and playing them close. In the past, on the Pelicans, he'd be lackadaisical playing off of them. If they're going to go around me, they're going to go around me. If they're going to do this and do that, am I closing the gap? I don't care, because we don't care here in New Orleans. But here in Toronto, we care. So I'm going to do it, and I'm going to get on it. And we're going to see a more defensive Brandon Ingram than ever in his whole entire NBA career. It's fantastic. And you couple this stuff, I'm telling you, Brandon, if you keep going like this, you're going to have new levels of play that we've never seen and the NBA would have never seen. And they'll be like, holy shit, Brandon got so much better under Darko while being in Toronto. Because we're going to see this, because he can grow. He can grow, and he wants to. That's the other thing. That's the difference. There's guys that can be super talented like Brandon Ingram, and they can cruise on what they already know, but they don't want to work hard, and they'll just do what they do every night and carbon copy it, and they don't go anywhere. They don't get any better. They stagnate, and they just stay that level. And that's nothing wrong with that if they're that good. But if they have that DeRozan code, if they have that want, that drive to be better, above and beyond just getting the regular bag and making the NBA, there's levels they can go up to higher, especially if they have a coach that has a vision and the ability to let them see it and help them get to it. And that's what I'm saying, man. Brandon Ingram, when he said this open gym, that he wants to be on the all-star team for the next 7 years in a row, believe him when he says that. As long as he's healthy, he's going to have a good chance to do this. And I hope for sure that he's in the Raptors red jersey for most of those years. Yeah, if not all of them. So, man, Brandon, you're awesome, man. I love what you're doing right now for the Raptors. And I love your decision-making right now. He's not scared about getting his points. He knows he's going to get his opportunities. So he's very unselfish. He's passing it around. He's got 6 assists. And he's also getting 2 blocks. So, man, he's fleshing out his game. There were many games in a Pelicans jersey where Brandon Ingram had a lot of shooting stats and scoring stats, but not a whole lot of other stats like rebounds, assists, and blocks. That's changing. That's changing. He's evolving. And he said it himself, I'm evolving. I'm evolving. That's right. Star number 3, man, this guy had such a badass game last night. This dude is out of his slump as of last night, Mr. Shed. Oh, my gosh, Sheddy. You were so awesome last night. You did things on both ends of the court that I was like, yeah, that's my Shed. That's my Shed. Look at him dogging them on defense, getting a little steal here and running it back the other way. Look at him hitting his open threes. Look at him just being that team leader, that focus. You know, Marquez Johnson said a lot of nice things about Jamal Shed, saying that this guy came into the league ready, prepared as a defensive guard. and he is just a pest. He is so annoying, this Jamal Shed. This is what Marquez Johnson of the Bucks announcing was saying yesterday. So let's look at Jamal Shed's stat line. 23 minutes, 12 points on 4 of 9 shooting, 2 of 6 from 3. I love those 2 made threes. They were awesome. 2 of 2 at the free throw line, 6 rebounds for Shed, 6 assists, 0 turnovers, and 2 steals, a plus 26. He had the highest plus minus on the Raptors yesterday because he had that winning effect for us, man. It was just like that. That was that Jamal Shed aura of the best of Shed. Not making any knucklehead turnovers, no turnovers, not missing completely all of his shots and kind of making only 4 points. No, he did his contributions. He got double digits points, and he got a 6-0 assist to turnover ratio. You put that with Immanuel, that's a 15-1 assist to turnover ratio between the 2 point guards. What's not to like? What's not to like right there? Jamal, thank you for coming back to the very efficient, amazing player that you are, and you are a winner. And you had a winning impact in this game last night, for sure. You were part of that physicality that Doc Rivers was talking about. That's right. My 4th star of the game last night is Sandro Mamukelashvili. He took some joy in playing against the Bucks. I think that in some ways, much like in a couple days when we play the Spurs, Sandro has something special for the teams that he played for before. Some of it is he has teammates that he used to play with on the other side that he's buddies with, like Bobby Portis Jr. or AJ Green, people that he actually played with when he was on those teams. And, you know, in some ways you get up for playing against your former team, like RJ and Immanuel would get up for a Knicks game, you know, because you have buddies over there and you want to beat them. So, you know, Sandro had a mixed bag of, for a while he struggled. He wasn't hitting anything just like a lot of the Raptors, but then he kind of woke up and started hitting shots later and doing some cool things. Sandro, 23 minutes off the bench, 15 points, 6 of 12 shooting. It seemed like he was shooting way worse, but he shot 50%, 3 of 8 from 3. Those 3-pointers by Sandro, really crucial. 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 0 turnovers. Once again, we're seeing a pattern here. 1 steal, a plus 22. So having a big, huge impact on the game. And the Bucks announcers love Sandro. They much like the Bucks fans, appreciate him and how he plays and who he is as an NBA player, and what he brings to a team and his all-out effort and smiling and just being a cool dude. But it seemed like when Sandro hit that 3 and he had a couple of plays, he was very fired up about beating his former team. So you go on then, Sandro Mamukelashvili. That's right. They love you and they miss you. Well, you're a Raptor, and we just beat their ass, and I'm sure you enjoyed that. The last star of the game I'm going to give for yesterday is Jakob. I'm going to go ahead and give the last star to Jakob, and it's partly because of what we just talked about with the things that he does that aren't on the box score. Seriously. In some ways, just like RJ, even if RJ's not shooting well, if Jakob's not doing well, we have better winning chance with those guys in the lineup. We just do. The stats don't lie. That if Jakob's there, we're going to have a big man that can do all these big man stuff that nobody else on our team can do. And then if RJ's out there, he has a winning edge, a competitiveness, and an energy on the court, even if he's not making his points. We felt it out there yesterday. He's going after it. He's getting after people on defense, and he's trying to do things even if his shot's not making. That's that classic player. It's like he's going to try and find things to help even if he's not making his shot. Well, Jakob, we got to give him respect, man. His back is feeling better and better. He's moving better and better. I want to say that also. He moved really well last night compared to the game against the Bulls. So he's progressing. And he looks like he's happy. He looks like he's doing well in general. So Jakob, 26 minutes, only 6 points, 3 of 4 from the field, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 0 turnovers, 2 steals for Jakob also, and a plus 14. Yeah, those steals were interesting. You know, Jakob has really good hands for a guy his size, and he's an opportunist. Like if there's a ball near him in the lane and it's the Bucks side of the court, he will just snatch that ball and take it. And then all of a sudden we've got a steal and we're going the other way. He's a very strong guy, and he's a very good rebounder. And I'm really happy that Jakob is healthy and back in the lineup, especially with the 2 games we got coming up tomorrow and Wednesday. We're going to need him. Trust me. So, yeah, Yak got my last star of the game because, you know, there's a lot of stuff that just is not going to show up on the box score that he's doing out there. And some of those are screens. Some of that is very much screens and helping these guys get really good shots off of that. Yeah. I'm going to give an honorable mention to Colin Murray-Boyles. 20 minutes, 8 points on 3 of 4 shooting. He missed the only 3 he took. 2 of 4 from the free throw line, 4 rebounds, 1 turnover, 2 steals, a plus 13. Yeah, in some ways, look, you got to go with the punches and everything in your NBA career. And if you're not starting, you're going to have to show that you can still give a good production off the bench. And it seemed like he did a good job of that yesterday. It's not the same level and it's different. But in some ways, I'll bet you there really is like a little bit of like, I want to teach you guys your ego and humble you guys a little bit and not just think, oh, you got this because you already got it because you're like that, whether it's TJD just not getting a ton of minutes right away or Colin not starting yesterday. That's the right reserved by the coach to decide who gets minutes. And nephews and casuals online will complain and say, why did he play this? Why didn't he play that? You don't fucking know why. It could be there's a very specific reason why Colin Murray-Boyles didn't get to start yesterday. And Darko has a method to his madness. And it makes sense within the team. It makes sense within the coaching staff and the players. And it doesn't have to make sense to nephews and casuals on Reddit or Facebook or social media anywhere. Even if y'all thought, I thought he should have done that. Darko's such a bad coach. He should have started Colin yesterday. We fucking routed them. What the fuck is bad about that? I mean, seriously, that's the kind of noise that makes me mad. Is like the fans, the people in Raptors Nation that think they know better about coaching and GMing than Darko and Bobby Webster. You guys don't know. You don't know. You're not in the locker room. You're not on the plane. You're not in the GM's office. You're not on the phone with the other teams. You don't understand these people's jobs like you think you do. You don't fucking know Darko's job, okay? You don't. And in some ways, if he decides to do something like this, there's probably a really good reason. And I think because of the arc of progress and positive changes to the Raptors since Darko's become our coach, I think you should put a little bit of like, I trust this guy because he's doing things in a way that's providing results. Instead of being like, I don't know why he did this. I'm so upset. Well, we won by 20. I don't care. I want to be right. My ego is ego. That's the most important thing. I give a shit about Colin playing because it's my ego. I'm like, dude, shut up, man. Get over yourself. And let the fucking coach do the coach's job. Let the GM do the GM's job. And let the fan do the fan's job. Seriously. I mean, it's like stupid. Like, what are you going to get mad about this? We won. Let's go ahead and do RJ real quick. All right, RJ, 27 minutes, 7 points, 2 of 10 from the field. Man, those 8 misses, I watched every one of them, and I was like, no. And I know his haters were like, you suck, I hate you. And then they see RJ dribble down the court, and then he bobbles the ball and loses it, and it's a turnover. I'll say, no. And then I know his haters are like, yeah, he sucks, I hate him. I can't stand this. We got to give our hometown hero a pass. We do. I'm sorry. Y'all are not his supervisor. Y'all are not his boss. Y'all are not quality control for RJ Barrett's NBA career. You can let that man succeed and fail as he wants to or is going to, and Darko will do the decisions that you want to do for him. If he's so bad, Darko will bench him. If he's so bad, he'll be out of the rotation. And y'all casuals and nephews can think all you want to think about RJ Barrett, you fake ass Raptors fans that are actually Knicks fans coming into our social media spaces, digging into him because he had a bad game, saying, oh, because it does look bad when he misses threes and bricks shots and turns the ball over and loses it. It does look bad, but some people just have bad nights. Sometimes you're going to have a bad night, but you know what? He had a lot of really good nights earlier this season too, almost perfect nights where he made most of his shots and didn't make any mistakes. There's going to be sides to this. And well, once again, we have to remember RJ's not fully back from his knee injury. He is still in some ways getting back into his rhythm, as was said in the post-game conference afterwards by both Darko and Immanuel about Barrett. So pause on your science lab bullshit with RJ Barrett today, Raptors Nation. We won the game. Sometimes we're going to have bad games with individuals. And RJ just happened to have one of his last night. All right. So, yeah, 0 for 3 from 3. 3 of 4 at the free throw line, though. At least one Redditor said, at least he's making his free throws. 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 turnover, 2 steals, a +2. I thought he had more turnovers than that. He only had 1 turnover? I thought he had more than that. Either way, I'm not mad at RJ. It can be a dud game. I know people are going to come at him, and that's I'm one of the people saying, why are you coming at him? We won. We won by 28 points. What the fuck are you coming at RJ in a 28-point win? It don't make no sense to me. Jacoby had a similar game. We're going to sing the praises of Jacoby Walter and say Jacoby's all this and all that like we have already in the stream. But Jacoby had a similar game to RJ, almost exactly the same. He made one more shot than him. 30 minutes for Jacoby, 9 points on 3 of 10 shooting, 3 of 8 from 3. And that's the thing. His 3 shots were threes. 6 rebounds, 3 assists. That's exactly what RJ got. 0 turnovers. He didn't get 2 steals like RJ did. Plus 14 for Jacoby Walter. Y'all going to go and say Jacoby Walter's amazing. I love him. He's so good. And his stat line's almost identical to RJ Barrett. Like, seriously. There are going to be people glazing Jacoby today and saying all this stuff about Jacoby Walter this, Jacoby Walter that. And he has almost the same exact stat line as RJ Barrett. Is that fair? Is that perception? Is that nephews? Yeah, it's nephews. We called, the aunt said, yeah, my nephew's over at their house. Yeah, it's the nephews. It's the nephews. They're doing it. They're doing it. Yep. Trace Jackson Davis, 3 minutes, 2 points, 1 of 1, 1 rebound, 1 block. How was that? A 3-minute garbage time for a TJD with a basket, a block, and a rebound. That's pretty productive for 3 minutes, honestly. Jamison Battle got in there for 9, and some people were whining about this. I don't understand this. Monique, whoever tweeted that they were mad that Jamison Battle only got 9 minutes in the game last night, they're an idiot. If it's that guy, Omer or whatever his name, that tweets is saying that, he's an idiot. I'm going to say that right now. Jamison Battle's minutes are exactly what they're supposed to be. Everybody who thinks Jamison should be playing 20 minutes or 30 minutes, you're an idiot. Just let Darko utilize his team the correct way like he does. And so it's like I said, the specialist can't be a specialist if he's a regular. And then a regular is not kind of like what we need for Battle right now. Y'all can just think, oh, because Battle makes shots a certain way and extrapolate that if he gets to play more, he's going to hit way more and more. That's not actually always true, y'all. You could actually ruin a player by overplaying them. In some ways, like I said, we want to keep him potent. We want to keep him sharp. You will dull the knife if you use the blade too much. And in some ways, Darko understands this better than the casuals and nephews. And that's why he utilizes Jamison the way he does. And don't question it. Seriously. Battle, 9 minutes, 5 points, 2 of 2 from the field. He made a 3. 3 rebounds, a plus 11. You know, maybe at some point, Battle's only his second year. He could be expanding his role in the next couple of years and become more and more a regular rotation over time. Look at Sandro Mamu. Sandro Mamu did not become a regular rotation player in his career until this year. He was a semi-rotation guy, and there were nights where he did not get in for the Spurs last year. He just sat on the bench every night. So, in some ways you could look at that for Battle. Battle in a couple of years, maybe in his 4th year, he could be a very much every night rotation player, but he's in development. He's undrafted. He's not even a draft pick. And you guys got to remember some of this stuff sometimes. People are calling out this and that and that and this. We've got to see Garrett come out there last night, which was cool. And Marquez Johnson was very proud to see Garrett Temple take the court for the Toronto Raptors at the end of the game because he said this is Black History Month, and that man is all about Black history. His father was the first ever player, African-American player for LSU on their college basketball team. And he just talked about how great a person Garrett Temple is and just how long he's been in the league. And he said when he heard it, he's like, he's 39 at this point. Oh my gosh, this man really has stuck around in this league for this. Casuals and nephews are like, why do we have this old guy on our team? But Marquez Johnson saying in the Bucks broadcast, that's a testament to the leadership he provides for this team, that they have him around and being on this team and doing this because it's very, very valuable, I'm sure. And it is. Garrett Temple has been absolutely valuable to our team the 3 years he's been on our team. And I hope that he continues to be on our team, even if he's on our team next year and he's 40 years old. And in the offseason, we re-signed Garrett Temple. And everybody's like, why is he still on our team? Yeah, go ahead. They keep saying, we should just make him a coach and stop using a roster spot on him. Okay, nephews. In some ways, we can't have him out on the court coming out in the game if we have him on the coaching staff. And we may still want him to be out there in a veteran way like he does, like he did at the end of the game last night. 2 minutes for Garrett and really no stats. He was a +1. Grady Dick, 16 minutes, 4 points, 1 of 6 shooting, 0 for 2 at 3, 2 for 2 at the free throw line, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 turnover, 1 steal, a +14 still. So winning minutes with Dick out there. And yeah, I want him to make these threes, man. He had a wide open 3 last night that he absolutely should have drained, and he missed it. That's tough, man. Grady, I'm not putting you under the microscope. I'm not gonna come at you. I'm gonna allow you to struggle and do what you need to do, and hopefully we'll get you on the right side of things sooner than later is what we want. So yeah, that's the box score for the Raptors. Looking on the other side, let's give a kudos to one of the players on the other side. They struggled to get points on the other side. They had 2 guys with 21 points, Kevin Porter Jr. and Ryan Rollins. Yeah, Porter Jr. impressed me. He's a lot more pro than I thought. I think he's matured a lot. Because when he first came in the league, he was a knucklehead, and he was not conforming to NBA like professionalism. But I think he's gotten some wake-up calls, and some of the things that have happened to him early in his career, that he's carrying himself in a way more professional way. So I gained a little bit more respect for Kevin Porter Jr. I've always known that he's a very dynamic scorer and a dangerous person on a basketball court. It's just that I always thought he was an idiot off the court and that he didn't have the right mentality for being an NBA player because he was making stupid mistakes and doing stupid things off the court. But it seems like he's matured and he's a little bit more grown up in his life at this point, especially from what I heard after the game in his post-game press conference. He sounded like it. He got a double-double, 21 points with 10 assists, and he was kind of their point guard. Ryan Rollins with 21 points also with 9 rebounds. But yeah, their team, they struggled. And that one big area where we beat them was in bench scoring. They've been beating these teams in their 6 out of 7 wins recently by creaming the other team's bench with the points, like beating them bad. And well, we did that last night. We beat them with our bench. Our bench outscored them. And think about earlier this year with the struggles with our bench scoring last year. And this goes back to Shaq Lindsay's comment about our bench being deep all of a sudden. We struggled to get any bench scoring for a while when RJ was out of the lineup, Yaka was out of the lineup. Now that those guys are back and the bench is more fleshed out, we're outscoring the bench of the Bucks, and that's a big difference in helping us win. Let's go do the box score team stats. The Raptors did outshoot the Bucks 47% to 41%, and we did get 9 more shots on goal. 3-pointers, 16 threes for the Raptors. Only 9 for the other side. They shot really bad. And that's kind of what you get. Announcers for the Bucks making fun of the Raptors for being one of the worst 3-point shooting teams in the league at the beginning of the game. Well, by the end of the game, your team's going to shoot 28%. And we're going to make 18 threes or 16 threes and beat your ass. Yeah, that's how it's going to go down. So in some ways, you get what you get. Maybe you shouldn't have said being cackling and funny lady who does the Bucks games. Oh, the Raptors are such a bad 3-point shooting team. That's her in the first quarter. Yeah, bitch. You see what happens by the end of the game. I shouldn't use that word. I apologize for that. I should not use that word. I apologize. I shouldn't have said that. All right, free throws. We got to the free throw line more than them. So Josh Tiven wasn't totally being against us. We shot very much the same. Rebounds. They got 1 more rebound than us. Very even. The assist to turnover ratio, which Fiercely brought up already, was immaculate. All right, this is the assist to turnover ratio for the Raptors. And you already know from the box score I just did. 34 assists, 8 turnovers. We had under 10 turnovers yesterday. That's amazing. 34-8. What is that? That's over 4-1 assist to turnover ratio as a team. It used to be back in the day, John Stockton would get like a 12-0 assist to turnover ratio, 12-0. Well, 4-1 as a team, that's amazing. That is so good. 34 assists, 8 turnovers. The other team, 18 assists with 19 turnovers. So they had negative assist to turnover ratio, 1 more turnover than an assist. That's a big part of how we're winning right now, man. I'm telling you. Points in the paint, we won 46-42, and we got 15 fast break points to their 8. So, yeah, really, really good stuff. Our largest lead over them in that game was 31 points. Yeah, we beat them all 3 of the last 3 quarters pretty solidly. They beat us in the first quarter, and they kind of kicked our butt right from the start. But man, as soon as in the second quarter we started kicking their ass and didn't look back. So yeah, there's the look at the box score in depth with the teams and the players. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Yeah. Yeah, let's see. All right, let me keep going. Fiercely saying this. Giannis is funny, great spirit, kid at heart. You can't hate on him. I mean, you can, but I want to like him more. Lex, the lady who passed won 2 championships, I believe, with Detroit Shock, but may be mistaken. Allegedly a car accident. Oh, geez, I don't know. In some ways, I don't know about the story at all. But either way, somebody's passed away. I feel bad, and I have condolences for their family and their friends and the WNBA community. Yeah, I don't know anything about Braxton. I don't know about her. I don't think I've ever seen her play. Yeah, there is a huge hole in WNBA history that I hadn't watched, unfortunately. Smooth saying this: Orlando Robinson's been waived by the Magic. I just saw that. That's interesting. That's interesting. It's not like we need this at this point, though, right? Like this point, I think with Trace here and Jakob healthy, we seem like we're good, right? Like, what would adding Orlando Robinson look like right now, Reggie? I mean, he's familiar with our team. He's been with us before. It would be another center. It may be finally to the level of center depth that Cool Cat and I have been wishing for years. I don't know. I don't know. In some ways, we've already shown our sign of trying him out and having him around, and we didn't stick on to him then. So I don't know if the chances of us trying to pick him up on a 10-day all of a sudden right now are high, but maybe they are because of familiarity. But it could very well be that Bobby Webb's just like, we don't need any more bigs right now. I'm still waiting for Shamshay. And Orlando Robinson's not in our plans. But this is interesting. This is interesting. A 10-day contract towards O-Rob. I'm not against it if Bobby did it because I like Orlando Robinson. And he gives us more physicality like what we used against the Bucks yesterday. That's right. Jimmy Pope's here. The Pope of Positivity. Salute to you, sir. In a world like today, we need more positivity than ever. That's right. People trying to downplay everything as always. Beating the Bucks ain't a huge accomplishment at the moment, but they just came off beating the Magic, the Thunder, and the Pels. Yeah, I don't give a crap. I mean, there's always going to be a spin on everything. Like they're spinning on RJ. I'm spinning a certain way for RJ right now, right? And in some ways, they'll say, you're the delusional one. We're the ones that are right about RJ. You're just glazing RJ. Well, there's just going to be a spin on anything. It's just like how, think about it, Jimmy. Think about how some people talk about our championship and downplaying it and trying to sully it and make it less of an accomplishment. That's part of this. It's the same action. You beat the Bucks. They're not even in the playoffs. Why are y'all proud of that? Jimmy's right. They just beat Orlando twice. They beat the Thunder and they beat the Pelicans also. So it's like, okay, you're going to have it either way. It's like if we do have a really good accomplishment, you'll downplay it. And then when we have travesties, you're going to make it sound even worse. There's just people out there that are like this. Think about the inverse is this. How do we feel about the Lakers championship in the 2020? Yeah, we downplay it. We sully it. And rightfully so, in my opinion. But in some cases, Lakers fans would look at it as like, you guys are putting down our accomplishment of winning a championship with LeBron in 2020 in the bubble and stuff like that. I mean, that it's partly, like I said, it's perception wars. There's so many perception wars right now. A lot of political perception wars, and it's in sports also. So, yeah, people that hate us obviously are going to paint a picture of this win over the Milwaukee Bucks. Why are you proud about it? They suck, and everybody should be beating them. But that's not true. Not everybody is beating them. Jerk who said that this game shouldn't be proud of. Seriously, it's not true. They've been beating most of the people they've been playing. So this is an accomplishment. And only a casual wouldn't see how in depth like we see it. Because I said it yesterday in the preview, don't take this Bucks team lightly. They have won 6 out of their last 7 games. And maybe this person who's saying, oh, you shouldn't be proud that you beat the Bucks yesterday, they didn't do their research like I did to understand where the Bucks are at this moment right now. That's right. G saying, go IQ. That's right. Let's go. Call 5, and he will get you the game W. That's right. Fiercely saying, I'm glad to see we're figuring it out when teams play zone against us. Yeah, I mean, I never thought this was really – I thought this was an overblown problem. Like, seriously. I get it. That we struggled with the zone to an extent, but I always knew that there's an easy solution. We just need to do it. It was never like this is a defining problem for a roster that's going to be a problem forever. No, let's just come around and fix it and make the effort to do it at some point, and we will, because it's not really a serious problem. Zone should never be a serious problem. There's always a way to bust it. Let's just go do it. So yeah, this was never going to be something where Bobby needed to change the roster to fix this problem. And the zone thing is just stupid. We could have beat the zone at any given time. All this time is sometimes they were employing really well against us, and we were just not adjusting to it correctly. And that's part of the problem. Part of the problem is that we do struggle in a half court offense to a degree, and that a part of it is Jakob not being out there. Jakob busts the zone just from being that screener that I've described in the stream today. So that's a big part of it there. We could have problems with the zone earlier this season when Yak's out, but he's there. The zone ain't going to do jack shit to us, right? That's what I'm saying right there. Smooth saying, I'm hoping that Chris Boucher gets another shot in the NBA. I don't know, though. This may be it, man. Seriously. And if you think about Chris's career, he's really a successful player. I mean, he's a multiple-time champion. I know he doesn't really count the Warriors championship, but he had a very long career. He made a lot of money, and he had a real NBA career. And there's no slouch in that. This league is hard. A player like him that didn't really he came in the league on a 10-day contract. This is impressive that he's gotten this far with his career and what he's done in his career. So he can't be upset. In some ways, maybe Chris, I have an idea for you. What if you played for Montreal Alliance this summer? Yeah. Why don't you take a step into the Canadian Elite Basketball League, and for a team that you have a stake in, a team that you care about, a city you care about? What if Chris is playing in the CEBL this summer for the Montreal Alliance? That'd be awesome, man. I don't know what the rules are on that, especially now that he's just cut loose. He's been bought out. He's been waived. What are the rules on that? Can he go and play? Because obviously guys in the CBL are jumping into the NBA still. So it's not like if he goes to play for Montreal this summer that, he can't try and get into a training camp in the fall with the NBA, right? Right? So I would say this, Chris, if you didn't play a whole lot this year and you feel like you should have played way more on Boston this season, maybe you should go play for Montreal and play for your hometown team and do something good for the Canadian Elite Basketball League and for a team that you have an investment in yourself. Because he's got an investment in that team. I think he's a part owner. So, you can go play for that team. It's a very good investment because you're bringing your persona and your prestige as an NBA champion and a Toronto Raptor, former Raptor, to the Montreal Alliance. That'll draw people into your gates. That'll bring attendance up, and you'll probably increase the value of the team that you play on. I think Marc Gasol did the same damn thing when he retired and went to Spain. He didn't retire right away. He went and played for the team that he partly owned. And, that seems like that's smart business to me, Chris. You want to play basketball still. The Canadian Elite Basketball League is there for you, obviously, because you've been linked to it already. You know what I'm saying? I'd love to see that, man. I know that in some ways some people say, well, that sucks. I guess his NBA career is over. Man, listen, basketball's hard all around. Eugenio Moroy just got a championship in Spain with Baskonia. David Johnson's doing things in Tasmania, and he's doing excellent things down there. It's just a hard world. And you got to go to whatever level is whatever time you're ready. And people judging them or saying, oh, you're washed, or you're not that good. Man, were you ever anywhere near Chris Boucher and what he did in his career? So don't even come at him like that. Seriously. Who are you to say that? Seriously. Yeah, Trevor's saying that move CMB on Gary under the hoop was nice footwork. The one thing I really love, and I see this in a couple of guys, actually, I'm going to name a few of them right now. Colin Murray-Boyles, Jacoby Walter, RJ Barrett, Immanuel Quickley, and Jakob. All those guys, and even Sandro too, they all have patience. They all are apt to pump fakes. You know what I'm saying? Too often we have young players that just rush things near the basket, and they either get blocked or they're too telegraphed. But these guys are smart about timing, and they're patient, and they're confident. And the footwork is part of it too. The footwork and just waiting. How many times have we seen Jacoby wait to put the ball up when he's right next to the basket? He's not like he's jumping. He just lays it up, but he waits for the defender to do his move, and then he goes up and puts it in. Think about how RJ's doing his little dipping and diving in the lane to avoid and put the shot in. Think about Colin and how he avoids the defender and how he does his things with timing and footwork. Yeah, Immanuel, he's been showing a strong proclivity to get into lane and take these little circus shots and little push shots around bigger defenders. And how is he being successful? Because he's being smart about when he takes the shot at the right time and with delay or just a fake or a little spin or this or that. We have a lot of these guys that are doing this on our team. And I love it. I love it. It's smart. It's very, very smart. Sometimes guys are too aggressive. They just go right at it and they just get blocked. But these guys are waiting and they're patient and they have footwork. And it's a common thing on our team. It's not like a singular thing with a couple players. There is a whole group of our guys that are good at this stuff, which is awesome. I love it, man. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Jordan saying, thanks for the stream. Pleasure to watch these Raptors. Man, it is, isn't it? Man, I can't wait for tomorrow. We're going to play the Thunder again. And we have a great opportunity tomorrow at home against the Oklahoma City Thunder to sweep them for the season. Yeah, because we beat them on their home court already this year. And we'll play them tomorrow. And they don't have SGA. And they don't have Jalen Williams, I'm pretty sure. So they're missing some guys. They're susceptible. I think that they've won 6 out of their last 10. So they've lost 4 of their last 10. So they're susceptible. And doesn't that sound nice? Maybe we can't beat the Knicks and the Celtics in games with them, but we can, if we can sweep the champs, yeah, that's nice. So yeah, we'll talk more about this tomorrow morning in the preview at 9:30 tomorrow. I'll set it all up with the refs and the latest lineup news to get you ready for the Thunder. Yeah, Tuesday night Thunder at the Scotiabank Arena. That's right. Fiercely saying call 5 right now. I love it. I love it. Jordan, thanks for coming back today. I hope I see you more often. Milbester's saying, good morning, Lex. All right, Nick's Freak is in the house. Let's see what he's saying. We getting slaughtered with this blizzard. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. You want some advice from Canadians? How do we deal with this? New York announced snow day. First one since 2019. Overnight hours piled more snow on than in the evening. Yeah. Yeah, this is how it works, Milbester. It's just how it is. Are you at that point where if you open the door, the snow is like halfway up the doorway? Yeah, are you at that point yet? That's the fun stuff right there. That's the stuff, man. You start building tunnels, make an igloo. Come on, man. Get into it. Embrace it, Milbester. Get out there. Make snow angels. You know, write your name in the snow with your urine. Do whatever you want to do. It's fun. What happened last time in 2019 when the blizzard had a snow day? Oh, the Raptors won the championship. I wonder if that could coincide together. That's right. Let's see. Good to see Quickley had a good game in the Raptors win versus the Bucks. How many points did IQ have? How did Giannis do? Well, Quickley had what? 31 points is what I said, right? He had 30. What was it? 31? He had 32. He had 32 points in 31 minutes. Immanuel Quickley did. Giannis did not play. Giannis is hurt. You know that, right? He didn't play the All-Star game. He's still hurt. In fact, I have breaking news that he's out for another 4 weeks due to a high five with a kid who beat cancer. That's right. Breaking news. Giannis Antetokounmpo out another 4 weeks due to a high five from a cancer survivor. Yeah, that's the news. I seen it on ESPN. Bryce is here. Let's fucking go, Lex and Raptor Freaks. That's right, Bryce Lawson. Live your life, my guy. Live your best life, Bryce Lawson. Holding it down in the bluegrass state of Kentucky for us. That's right. Live your best life, Bryce. That's right. Stargate is in the house, too. Good to see Stargate. Happy birthday, Wiggins. Jimmy's saying IQ is elite. That's what I'm saying. Like, let's stack him up with the point guards in the league right now real quick. You know, Maxi's Maxi. Maxi started in the All-Star game. He was the point guard starter in the East. Maxi. Well, I'm just saying, who's close to Maxi in this league? Yeah. I mean, very close to him. The comparisons to Maxi and Quickley have been forever, right? They were teammates. They are from Kentucky. They play the same position. They have maybe a similar hairstyle sometimes. There's a lot of comparisons. And, well, like I said, he may never get to the exact level that Maxi's at right now. But if he can get closer to it, even closer to it than what he's doing right now, that's good. That's what we want on our team, right? We want a weapon like Tyrese Maxey on the Raptors. I can remember 4 or 5 years ago, people were saying, man, I wish we had a Maxey on the Raptors. Well, Bobby and Masai were listening, and they went and got us a Maxey. And now people want to throw him out with the garbage. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? We got a Maxey. Why wouldn't you be happy we got Immanuel Quickley? Because he's like that. And who knows? I don't know if he'll get to Maxey's level. That's a tough level to get to. That's a crazy level what Tyrese Maxey does in this league right now. In some ways, we don't want him to be that overpowering with the scoring because then we'd be too reliant on him in certain ways like the Sixers are. No, I'd rather have balance between him and Brandon and Scotty and RJ than just have Maxey as this. And Embiid's hurt all the time, so Maxey has to carry all the time. Paul George ain't here. Embiid ain't here. Maxey's got to go get 50. Do we really want Immanuel to become that? No, because in some ways that's too many eggs in the one basket. In some ways we like to spread it out and have things. And like I said, the ability for Maxey to have a big game is great to save the Sixers, but we don't want Quickley to be the savior for us like that every night because in some ways he may not be successful in doing that. So on certain nights, he'll rise up like he did yesterday, and he will be the number one guy, and he will take us to victory. So where's the level with this? How do we compare him to Tyrese Maxey? And how do we compare over time how he's getting closer to him? I'm telling you right now, that's it right there. That's it right there. Jimmy's saying that space Yak is going to create for him is going to help him so much. He really does bonus up. Like, I think out of all the Raptors, when Pirtle is available, Quickley benefits the most. He just does. And they did this right away. Like, when we got Immanuel, he specifically started working with Yak right away, and they really got their stuff down quick. And they love working off each other. And Jakob loves it himself. Like, in some ways, his role on our team is really good. And for his personality and who he is, it's just so fun to see. You know, we got to remember, Pirtle came from the school of Pop. And there's a certain kind of team player that plays for Popovich in San Antonio and a certain mentality. And Jakob, it's such an interesting skill set what he has. He's not a normal center. He's a much better passer than most centers. And he is a very good defender, too. That's the other thing that he doesn't get enough credit for. His defensive IQ and how he positions himself and where he goes to, especially because he's not the fastest guy. He has to be smart about how he positions and where he gets to is really high level, guys. So, yeah, man, respect Yak and understand that he is a huge reason why we can unlock Immanuel Quickley to new levels. For sure, man. Jordan's saying BI is a blessing. Our team has swag and potential and momentum. We have weapons. We have depth. We have options. We have the ability to beat different teams on different nights in different ways. And like they said, the Bucks announcer said they were missing their all-star, Scotty Barnes, and they didn't miss a beat. Yeah, and he said that's a testament to the coaching staff Darko has and what the system they've instituted with the Raptors that they can do this without Scotty Barnes. That's the Bucks announcer saying that, man. That's the Bucks announcer. Stargate saying this. Cleveland is trying to avoid playing the Raptors in the first round by all costs. I don't know. They lost yesterday is what I heard, right? They lost, right? Let me see. I should get that page. You know, first of all, there's an article out on ESPN this morning predicting the next USA basketball team, and they've got our guy Scott on there. Their projections for Team USA, and they've ordered them in ranking of who they think will be on the team, which is, or maybe they're in order of how old they are. I don't know, but Scotty's on the list. And it's funny because Paulo's not on the list. A couple guys didn't make the list, but Scotty did. Evan Mobley didn't make the list either. So it's like, yeah, Brunson, Booker, Anthony Davis, Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey are not on the list. They did not put Maxey on this team. This is crazy. Why wouldn't you put Tyrese Maxey on Team USA? I don't know, but the team they have is Cooper Flagg, Con Knipple, which is so weird, Jalen Duren, Amon and Thompson, Scotty Barnes, Cade Cunningham, Anthony Edwards, Chet Holmgren, Jalen Williams of the Thunder, Tyrese Halliburton, Bam Adebayo, and Jason Tatum. That's the team that they think is going to be Team USA in the next Olympics. So they're putting Scotty on there. They're speculating this guy's going to be there and not Evan Mobley and not Paolo Banchero. Very interesting. And they said the reason why Scotty's on there is because this year Scotty has proven that he's a full-fledged star along with Cunningham. They said Kay Cunningham and Scotty Barnes have matured into full-fledged stars since 2024, and that's why they have their place on that team over Evan Mobley and Paolo Banchero. That's big time right there. I love that. And I want this for Scott. I'm not like against Scott playing for USA because I know he has that dream and I want him to get it. Yeah, the Cavs ended up losing yesterday to Oklahoma City, which is fantastic. So we're now only 1.5 games back of them, a little bit closer. So we got to keep winning to get up there and get it. So yeah, that's a very important thing right now. Yeah, Jordan said I really like Grady too. Yeah, Grady's awesome, and he's a great young man. I like that he's embraced Canada. I really feel like he truly has. Seriously, I think that Grady, in some ways, has just got the right attitude and he's doing things right. It's tough, man. The NBA is a tough, tough place. And well, keep working. Maybe you'll have a breakthrough, Grady. Seriously, it could very well be he's in a weird kind of like third year slump. And that's all it is. He would have had a second year slump, but everything's kind of been pushed a little bit half season back is kind of how his career has been. We'll have to see if he does better in the second half of this season or then the last part of the season. There is a lot of runway for Grady to get things going in these last 20 or so games of this season. Seymour's here. Good to see Seymour. You want to call me, Seymour? We can do 4 quarters. He's saying prayers for the Canadians stuck in Mexico right now. I got folks down there praying for a safe return home. What's going on? Are you saying that because they might have to transfer in an American airport? Get direct flights, people. Seriously. If you're going to the Bahamas or any kind of islands, get a flight directly from Canada to the islands. Do not stop in the American airport. If you have a layover in America, just get rid of it. It's not safe. It's just, I don't know what you're talking about exactly, Seymour. But yeah, prayers for anybody, anywhere who's in harm's way. I don't care which side or what you are. If you are on the subjugated side, I'm praying for you. If you're the subjugator, fuck you, burn in hell. That's what I would say to that. Yeah. Fiercely saying Trent Jr. looking rough. To think there was a division against Raptors fans a few years ago, those who thought Darko should start him versus the bench. Yeah, I mean, Gary, man. You know, Gary had all the opportunity in the world in the Bucks this year. He was a starter at the beginning of the year. He was going to be penciled in as one of the most important players for their team because of all the change. But you know what happened with him this year? There's so many players they added this year that are similar to him and are the same position. And some of those guys just outperformed him. And now he's out of the rotation. Like he's not even off the bench as a scorer coming in. He was out of the rotation. The only reason why he got in the game last night because it was a blowout. He was not going to play in this game last night. Unless the Raptors were winning by 20 and there's garbage time. I feel bad for him. But once again, I'll say the same thing as I said for Chris. The NBA is hard. You have a certain career. You have a certain opportunities. And it just, you got to keep playing. You got to keep trying. But in some cases, I mean, I don't know what Gary was thinking. Maybe he had nostalgia about thinking about playing for us. He did play with Grady and Scotty. And he was on our team. So he was around Grady Dick for his first season. And he was around Immanuel and RJ a little bit too, because he was on our team right up until the end of that year. And then he left in the offseason. Yeah, I feel bad for Gary. Gary's always going to be good in my books. I have no problem with Gary Trent Jr. I love the legacy of him and his dad being on our team because it's the first one ever. In some ways, that's something Raptors fans should respect, that this is a sign of our franchise maturing, that we had a father, Gary Trent Sr., that played for our team, and then his son came and played for us later. That's the cool thing in our history. So, and man, Gary's just always been a real one for Toronto. He loves our city. He loves our team. And in some ways, he's going to be a good alumni after he retires. Trust me, watch. I'm sure he's going to come through and spend time in Toronto. But yeah, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. We don't have any guarantees in the NBA. I mean, guaranteed contracts, sure. But for the most part, guarantees about what your career is going to be and how long you're going to be doing it. No, there's no guarantees on that. There's no guarantees on that. Jimmy's saying, don't even know what to say about Grady. I wish the best for him. A good version of Grady would help our team so much. Yeah, it's a weird thing. Like I've talked about it a couple times this year. Grady in his second year got to start, and he got a lot of minutes. He got a lot of shots, and he got an opportunity to score a lot. It's just there's not as many opportunities now, and in the little bit of opportunities, he's not getting them. That's the test. We know you can start, and you can have a certain level of offense in starting. But, we're a better team when we start Brandon. We win way more. and you're going to have to be off the bench. Now, can you come in for 10 minutes in the game and hit a couple threes and do everything pretty perfect in that little bit of time? No, not yet. But that's what he needs to work on and hone, is an instant offense off the bench that is making his shots and doing what he's supposed to do in little bits of time, and that little bits of time will grow. If Grady does good things to a certain level, much like Jacoby, he'll get more opportunities offered to him. You know, it could have easily been Grady Dick starting yesterday if his season had gone better this year, like Jacoby's has, because that could have easily been Grady's spot to start yesterday in the place of Scotty Barnes. But no, it's not that kind of year for him. He struggled in low quantity with quality, and that's not a good sign. He really has to be perfect in the times he's out there, and it's tough. It's tough to be perfect in the NBA. And in some ways, he can't have that runway of screwing up and then coming around and getting to start playing good. No, because time is limited, and you don't get those opportunities like you did when you started. So it's a tough situation. In some ways, this is the thing that Gary had to learn. We just talked about Gary Trent Jr. is he wasn't going to start all the time. Well, he had to become a potent offensive player off the bench with his threes and what he's supposed to do. And we saw firsthand on Raptors the struggle with Gary being either a starter or a bench player. And, well, he's gotten good at being either. You know, not at this point in his career where he is right now, but in the past, he's been a good player to score off the bench or whether he's starting. Dennis Schroeder is another example of a player like this. It doesn't matter if he's starting or not. He's going to give you some production as a bench player, whether he's starting or not, you know. It's kind of like that. Smooth saying, Seymour at 4 quarters, I'm truly sorry about that. Praying for them. For what it's worth, the cartel has no beef with the people. They want them staying inside. What is going on? Man, I'm just not up on current events, y'all. In some ways, y'all bringing me news events, I'm just not going to be like knowing about them, because in some ways, I don't want to know everything that's going on in the world at this point. And whatever's happening, we want our Canadians home, obviously safe, whether they're in an ICE detention agents center or they're in trouble in Mexico right now. We want our Canadians back home safe. That's right. Let's see. Seymour saying Halliburton catching shingles is crazy, man. Can't catch a break. He's got shingles. Tyrese Halliburton has shingles. What the heck? That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Let's see. Crazy times, man. Crazy times. Name is saying they started Yak because of Turner. Also, what a fantastic game from Yak. He's starting to find his legs and resembling himself from seasons past. Yes. Yes. If anybody thought that he was just washed and old and broken, you're an idiot. Everybody kept saying that. I feel like that's partly the fake imposter people in our Raptors nation that know that Jakob's so good, and they just want to believe that. And in some ways, they wanted to influence Raptors fans to think Jakob's broken and he's no good anymore. We need to get rid of him, to influence opinion in our fan nation to be more popular to that. I never saw that. I was like, what? You guys are idiots. Jakob's back can heal. Jakob can be fine. Then everybody's trying to doomsday that Jakob is washed for the rest of his career. You're an idiot, is what I was trying to say to people at that time. And even though it was unclear, because he was like, they told him he'd be back around Christmas, and then he didn't show up until like a week ago. And it's like, I was starting to doubt and get a little worried, man, maybe Yak is washed. Maybe he's not good. But now that I'm seeing what he did yesterday, I'm like, these people are stupid. This dude will get healthy again, and he'll be back to his normal self. And that's what we want to see. That's right. Clap on that. Clap on that. That's right. Bryce Lawson saying, I don't want to give up on Grady. He's still molding into an NBA body. I believe that muscle he has put on has messed up his shot a little bit. This offseason is important for him. Extremely important for him. Extremely important for him. He'll be back next year. It's not like we're going to wave and cut Grady Dick. He'll be back next year, but he needs a better year next year. This year has been a bad year. And he can chalk that up to it, a learning experience and learning from it. But, man, this offseason, Grady, you need to go crazy. And you need to come back and show that you've improved yourself for next year, because it's not going to get easier. And, you know, Brandon's not going anywhere. Don't expect to get back in the starting lineup if that's your goal, to try and show that you do it. No, you need to do it through the bench in the place that you're at right now. Because, like, look, this crazy thing, man. And some people have been saying this. Why the hell is Grady still regular rotation when he is not doing it right? You know, why is he? Because Darko's not trying to give up on him. He's trying to give him the chances. He could easily do DMPs on him like Jamison Battle, obviously. But what would he do to that confidence on Grady? So he's still putting him in there, and he's getting to play every game, whether people like it or not. Some people think it's a waste. To me, I think it's an investment for the future because we don't want to give up on him, and we'd like him to turn around and still try and do something amazing. You know what I'm saying? So you got to put him out there to give him the chances. And in some ways, I know at some point, maybe next year he plays like this again. He's out of the rotation and he's sitting at the end of the bench and he's getting DMPs. So that's the thing, Grady. That needs to be your motivation. This year, Darko's sticking with you and putting you out there every game still. There's no guarantees he'll do that next year if you continue on the way you're doing things right now. You know what I'm saying? It's tough, man. It's tough. Name was saying tremendous impact from Yak already. Yeah, I don't think we route them without Yak out there yesterday. I don't think we route them. If Yak was still out and we played that team with no Scotty and no Yak, I'll bet that game's very close. We may still win, but it's more like a 5-point win instead of a 28-point win. I could see that. Kaloy saying this, morning, everyone. It feels so good. We have a high IQ 7-footer back. I know. He's cool, man. And like I said, some people, casuals, will look at his stat line yesterday and say, he sucks. He's washed. His back is horrible. He's no good. That's not what I saw. That's not what I saw. He was moving around really good yesterday. He was absolutely helping our team win. That's right. Casuals who want to look at the scoring column, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. Stop looking at the whole thing. Seriously, that's right. Stargate saying it's no surprise that this uptick in IQ's play coincides with Yak's return. They have a symbiotic basketball relationship. That's absolutely right. And I'm going to give Stargate a dunk for that one because he is exactly on point with that. It's something I've been saying in the stream. They are a symbiotic relationship. And it's a very one hand washes the other, looking out for each other kind of thing. So we're Stargate. We're going to give him a dunk. You are going to Anthony Parker, 18. There you go. Anthony Parker, 18. Let's see. Seymour saying my Ingram emoji, my Scotty emoji. That's your Ingram emoji with the hand up? That seems like it should be called 5. And the Scotty emoji looks like Squidward. Like, what is that? Is that Squidward doing like a yoga pose? What is that? That's crazy. Name was saying big time test for Nostra Squadra for the next 2. If we can split the back-to-back, I'll be happy. Yeah, I could get with that. Yeah. I mean, these are the top 2 teams in the West, the number 1 and the number 2, right in a row. Number 1, number 2, Tuesday, Wednesday. We've played both of these teams already this year. The Spurs have kicked our ass. That we beat the Thunder. And the Spurs kicked our ass really early in the season. We were on a weird losing streak after winning the opening game of the season. So we got to revisit the Spurs. I won't do the Spurs yet. I'm going to go check them out for Wednesday, but we got to be ready for the Thunder tomorrow. And I'll have that all ready for you guys tomorrow. Yeah, these are tests. And I'm with you. I think the success looks like a split. We get both of them. Hell yeah. That's awesome. But I think if we win one of the next 2, that's a huge accomplishment right there. And especially because it's a back-to-back with the number 1 and the number 2 teams in the Western Conference. It's crazy. Stargate saying it was at the end of that second quarter when the ref just threw up those hands and said it didn't make sense to follow the league-mandated anti-Raptor calls. It just didn't make any sense anymore. And I'm sure the league will punish them for not following the orders. Let's see where those refs are assigned next. I'm being facetious. Yeah, I don't see any of this. Josh Tiven was mostly good. The one call that he did that was fucked up was the challenge call, the goaltend call. Man, I don't like this Hawk's Eye thing that they're doing. I really don't. That shit was a goaltend. I'm sorry. Eyeballing that in the history of the NBA without the technology that can pinpoint exactly where the ball is to the backboard, they would have eyeballed that. That's a goaltend, and it was the right call. But no, Doc Rivers wants to challenge it, and Josh Tiven goes to look at it, and Ed Malloy's in the Secaucus center watching from afar. He's saying, no, go against the Raptors. Take Grady's points away from him. Grady don't get no points, and they're taking him points away from him in the challenge. It's sad. Grady gets that layup, and they come in, they hit it off the backboard, and it's the goaltending. 2 points for Grady Digg. No, Doc Rivers challenge. Actually, this is kind of a symbol of Josh at this point, is that Josh now does like an anti-Raptors challenge decision every game we see him. This has happened consistently this year. Every game that Josh Tiven refs us, there's a challenge that's kind of 50-50, and he puts it against the Raptors. And this was the one from last night, that goaltending that Grady he got robbed the 2 of his points there. is what happened there. That's right. Nako saying there were some real nice plays from Shed. Really was. He was in the zone. He was just a dog, man. He was total dog mentality. He was giving nightmares to those guards on the other side, Ryan Rollins and AJ Green and them. You know, they didn't have nothing for him. Nothing for him. And y'all saw Cam Thomas. Everybody talking about Cam Thomas this, Cam Thomas that. You know, some people are saying Cam Thomas went the wrong team, and I think they're right because that team is full of Cam Thomases. It's like Milwaukee has a profile of player, and Gary Trent Jr., Ryan Rollins, AJ Green, Gary Harris, Cam Thomas. These guys are all kind of the same player and position. And it's like, okay, what are you doing here in Milwaukee? And it's like, why would Cam Thomas, as a free agent who could go to any team, why would he pick a team that's not even in the playoffs with a bunch of guys at his position? I mean, Cam Thomas is a scorer. Yes, he can hoop, but he doesn't do jack shit otherwise for your team. That's for sure right there. That's right. Not like Shed. Shed does a lot for your team. That's right. It's obvious and pretty evident that Jamal really, really learned from Davion Mitchell, and he also studied Kyrie. Or Kyle. He studied Kyle Lowry. Fred VanVleet. That's another one. And especially because Fred had a proximity to him in his senior year at Houston. They did actually reach out and hang out with each other before Jamal even became a Raptor. Yeah, I don't know if y'all guys know that. You know, Fred was on the Rockets, and Shed was on the Cougars in his senior year. And they hooked up. They actually talked to each other. And that's part of the reason why Shed can wear 23. He personally asked Fred for the ability to do that. Okay, I'm not sure what's going on. There's some weird stuff going on. I might have lost the stream, guys, but either way, we're going to keep going and see what happens. There's a weird statement on here saying more than one ingestion is using the primary URL. Send one stream to the primary. I don't know what that means. Either way, if y'all can still see me, I'm going to keep going until it kicks me off. There's been a little bit of connection problem right this second. So we'll see. Davion Mitchell is a great player. One thing about DOC, one thing about Doc, why did you write his name in all caps? Because that's going to make me think that this is the guy who was with Snoop Dogg. One thing about Doc, he always gives the Raptors praise whether we win or lose against them. I really respect him for that. Yeah, the fans of the Bucks hate him, though. They're like, what a loser, what a fraud. They're so mad at him. They're like, why are you making excuses and glazing the other team? Why don't you just win? Yeah, the Bucks fans hate Doc Rivers. I'm not going to lie. They want him fired. They do. Seymour saying, Darren Peterson draft stock has fallen fast. I have no idea who that is. We'll do the scout of the day at some point. Wow, we haven't even really been scouting. This is great. Y'all have not been asking me to scout these players yet. And it's like, you know, I have a way where you guys can do it from the beginning of January, but nobody's really been asking me to scout anybody. And I like that. I'd rather do it later than do it right this second. You know what I'm saying? Because it seems like it's like too soon. And when we get close to the draft, I'll go look at Darren Peterson. I have no idea who that is. That's what I'm saying. I'm a tunnel vision for the Raptors. I don't care about college basketball. I'll go look at him sooner, closer to the draft, and I'll give you my direct reaction to never seeing him. It's an initial reaction. It's like a music reaction channel where people listen to songs for the first time and they react to it. Well, I do that for basketball scouts for the draft because I don't see these people. I do not see these people. That's right. Let's see. Jimmy's saying I kind of like Battle more than Grady at this point. He knows his job and does it. Well, the benefits of Battle is that he's a bigger, better rebounder. And in some ways he's more physical. And he's a better like defender in some ways too. I mean, there's trade-offs with Grady and Jamison. There's some offensive skill that Jamison does not have that Grady has. But in some ways, that offensive skill that Grady has maybe is great in college, but it doesn't translate to the NBA. And the thing that's impressed me the most about Battle is when he came in, I didn't think he'd be able to bulk up like he has and play power forward. I really thought of him as just an outside shooting, small forward shooting guard. But he's bulked himself up physically so that he can take some physicality down low and rebound and bang around with the big guys in the league. And that is an advantage and a plus over Grady and the differences between the two of them. Yeah. Stargate saying, how are people complaining? The team won. They beat the Bucks by 28 points. They are 34-23, 11 games over 500, 5th in the East. And people are still finding ways to complain and ridicule this team. It's not our people. I'm telling you, it's our detractors. And they want to pull apart any little loose thread. And they don't need us to lose They can just go to our box score and pick out the players that had bad games and go after them. And that's what they're doing to RJ and Jakob today, which is ridiculous to me, honestly. Paul B's in the house. Paul B holding it down for a stateside also in the great state of Wisconsin, where the Milwaukee Bucks play. That's right. Ingram's defense was fantastic, not jumping out of his shoes. Looked great. Yeah, he's measured and he's smart. He has such a good basketball IQ, and he's used it on the offensive side for his whole career. But now he's using it on the defensive side. And there's some really cool stuff about that. Bryce is saying, do we know what's wrong with Scotty? Well, this is an interesting thing that I did yesterday. You know, Lloyd appears in the new open gym. Lloyd, why not Lloyd? Scotty's Twitch friend that he played 2K with. And you saw that part where Scotty said, kids, play video games. You can get good things in your life, like Lloyd, who became my friend. Well, I wrote a message to Lloyd yesterday. I said, Lloyd, you're big time now. You were on open gym. And Scotty shouted you out, and he told everybody kids should play video games. And I just want to send you blessings and love. And whatever's going on with Scott right now, personally, I wish him luck and love and blessings also. And I hope it's a good thing and not a bad thing that's got Scotty away from the team. And Lloyd messaged me back almost immediately. And he said, thanks, bro. I appreciate it. And he didn't say anything else. I gave him the opening to say something about what's going on with Scott. But he's his best friend. He doesn't want to divulge what's going on. So at least Lloyd messaged me back saying, I appreciate it, bro. But, you know, he didn't give me any clue to what's going on with Scott. In some ways, I was fishing for it. I said, I know it's none of my business with what's going on with Scott, but I wish him well. And I hope that he's doing all right. And then Lloyd just said, appreciate it, bro. He didn't say anything. So I was trying, Bryce, to see if I could get the inside scoop from Why Not Lloyd. But he's holding the cards to his chest. I asked him earlier this year, too, like, would Scotty play for Team Jamaica? And he wouldn't answer me then either. But he does talk to me, and he did talk to me yesterday after I sent him a message. Stargate saying, nah, Lex, use the word. If it applies, use it. I was listening to Buck's broadcast as well, and she was being a bee. Well, this just Doris Burke. You know, some of the women that do the games, especially the one that does, like, Philadelphia. She is annoying. Oh my gosh. But there's male announcers that are annoying too. Like I can call Brian Scalabrini a bitch too, right? Right? Stargate saying, who deleted my post? I don't know who deleted your post, man. I don't know. Fiercely saying from NBA to CBL. I don't know. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't make it sound like it's a horrible thing if Chris Boucher plays for Montreal Alliance this summer. Don't make it sound like that. Don't look down on it. This professional league, there's a lot of guys that play in the CBL that are NBA borderline players, G League players. I mean, we've seen one of them play against us on the Westchester Knicks this season. Donovan Williams of the Scarborough Shooting Stars is the leading scorer for the Westchester Knicks. And he lives in both worlds, the CBL and the NBA G League. And he has been called up to the NBA. So there's no shame in this. It's a paycheck's a paycheck. And if you want to play while you're still young enough to play in an active way, I have no problem with this. Maybe Chris could be a trailblazer in some ways and show a trend of players, instead of going to Europe to extend their career and get more pay after the NBA says you're done, come to CBL and play there. And what if he does this and then more former NBA players come into the CBL with names and they build the prestige of the Canadian Elite Basketball League? It could work really well with former Canadian players, right? You know, what if Dylan Brooks has to retire at a certain point in his 30s, but he doesn't want to quit and he's on the Hamilton Honey Badgers for a little while at the end of his career? That's actually really good for the prestige of the Canadian Elite Basketball League. And maybe they have a certain amount of money that they can pay that makes it interesting for them. Maybe they just want to play because it's their home country and they can play for a team that's in their home city like Chris can for Montreal. You know, there's a lot to this that would be really good. Why wouldn't you be upset about this, MJ? You might be able to take Fiercely Jr. to a Montreal Lions game and see Chris Boucher playing for them. That would be awesome. Don't you think? That'd be awesome. Wayne's here. Good morning to Sergeant at Arms for our channel. Order in the court, Mr. Wayne Strainer. Morning, Raptor Freaks. Raptors showed poise and confidence. I am here for it. Don't know if you spoke of it. I saw a number 45 with Boston. Wish him the best this time around. Kudos to Cool Cat. Yeah, wishing well to Cool Cat, who's having health issues right now. We always praying and thinking about our Raptor Freaks that go through stuff. and Coach Cool Cat is in one of those places right now where we're thinking about you, good vibes, healing vibes. And yeah, Delano did get signed to a 10-day by the Celtics, and he is currently on the Celtics right now, but he's on a 10-day contract. We'll see if he sticks and hangs around. This is his second time around with them. And it's interesting to me that Brad Stevens and the Celtics see merit in Delano to circle back and bring him back on a 10-day recently. It could very well be because of injuries or people they're missing right now, just to be a stopgap to help them with their rotation in the roster right now. But Delano back in the Celtics jersey, even though it bugs me, it looks gross. I'm happy for our kid from Rexdale to be, in the NBA and doing stuff in the NBA instead of the G League right now. So Trevor's saying this. I have to share this joke. All right, I want to hear this. At my friend's house yesterday, and his friend is showing him her dress that she's wearing. He calls her dress looks like a church window with broken glass. So wait, she had a dress that looked like stained glass? Is that what you're trying to say? Like it looked like it had that colored glass in different ways, like her dress? Did she get mad at that statement? Like, did somebody get slapped? You look like a church window. Man, I don't know. That seems like that could be a compliment, right? So we're saying this. One of the local cartel leadership was killed. We can still see you. Okay, good. You can still see me. Good. You can still hear me. My number didn't drop. There's still a warning up saying that my connection's weird, but I don't care. I'll keep going as long as you guys can still see me. So one of the local cartel leadership were killed. So there's a vacuum of power and people are doing crazy shit. If I've learned anything from mafia movies and Sons of Anarchy, if there's a vacuum of power, then people are going to die all of a sudden because people get power hungry to jump into that spot. And there may be a little bit more extra activity of bullshit going on with the Mexican cartel because of this. This is interesting. Yikes. A church window? Yeah, what does that mean? Church window. Raptors champs, good morning. Raptors freaks and champs, good morning to you, sir. And Fiercey saying, indeed, he would still be paid with the CBL, maybe get a big contract, wishing Chris in any future endeavor. I mean, listen, if he's doing this thing that he loved professionally and he's getting some money and he's already accumulated a bunch of money, he's not going to get paid the same amount he's done in the NBA, obviously. But, in some ways, it's like, look, you get to play at home. You get to play for a team that you're invested in. So maybe he is making more money than we think because he's getting owner money too, right? So I think it's just smart. I think that if the NBA is not going to call you, Chris, you should do this, man. I think you should do this. Your ties are so deep with this team, obviously. This would just make sense to me, who would be dunking explosive? Well, it would be, what'd be interesting is because it would maybe look like Chris when he was in G League. When Chris Boucher was on the Raptors 905, he dominated the NBA G League. He was the same year the MVP of the G League and the Defensive Player of the Year in the G League. So there's a possibility that if Chris played in the Canadian Elite Basketball League for Montreal Alliance, he would dominate that league and get some crazy stat lines. Bombing threes and just dunking all over the place and stuff like that. You're probably right. Yeah, Trevor's saying because a church window has a lot of color and it's very colorful, look like a checkerboard. Well, that sounds like a nice dress. That sounds like a nice compliment. Not like making fun of her or something like that. Did she have a lot of wild patterns on her chest? Did she have some sort of monk praying on her dress? Like a colorful monk praying like it's a church window? I don't know. This channel, sometimes we get into weird places, man. Straight goods on Canadian goods, except we're doing a Ukrainian good today, guys. Kids like snacks, and you want to have healthy snacks for kids, right? Kids in your life. Well, there's a Ukrainian company called Bob Snail, and they make fruit roll-ups. These are kind of like, when you were a kid, you had the fruit roll-ups when you're a little kid. Well, these are like fruit snacks. And the great thing about Bob the Snail is that they're 100% real fruit. No fruit concentrates or syrups, just the real deal. Peanut and nut allergy free. So you ain't getting none of the nut allergies. They're gluten free also. There's no added sugar, just the natural sugars from the fruits. And they're also vegan friendly. And this is the mango ones. These are mango rolls. Whoa, throwing at the ground. But yeah, these are mango rolls. So they're like, I'll show you what they look like. But yeah, these are made in Ukraine. This is a Ukrainian company. So you're actually supporting the country that's, under siege by Russia. And that's good. See, it's like a little circle. And you just kind of peel the end off like, oh, it broke. You peel the end off of here. and you can like unroll it like a fruit roll up. See, you can tell it's a real fruit because it's not like an added color to make it look all colorful, like a really orangey thing. Because that's, sometimes they put that stuff in food to make it look like more attractive by putting in a color additive, but there's no color additive. This is just basically mango that has been processed into this straight up mango. What a pick me up. I get some fruit serving in my life from eating Bob the Snail. Look at him. He looks crazy. Hi, I'm Bob the Snail. I know Justin Bieber. There's your straight goods on anti-American, no American goods, Ukrainian good. Bob Snail. All kinds of different flavors you can get out there. That's right. That's right. Funky patterns are nice on a dress. That's right. Maybe that was a compliment. Like Fiercey, if a gentleman came up to you and made a comment about a very colorful dress you had, you look like a church window. Would you be mad at him? You'd probably ask, can you explain this, please? What do you mean? I look like a church window. Can you explain this, please? I don't know. This may be a joke that is extremely funny to Trevor in person, but it just doesn't translate through chat. You look like a church window. You mean I'm big and fat? Like a big, huge pane of glass? No, you're colorful and you look pretty. Oh, you're sweet. It's like, be careful what you say there. All right, let's see. Any breaking news on the Blue Skies? Let's just check real quick. They're talking about Canada basketball, guys. We got Canada basketball games coming up. They announced the team. Blake Murphy's saying Canada basketball has announced that their July FIBA World Cup qualifiers will take place in Hamilton, Ontario. And July the 3rd, they'll play Puerto Rico. And July the 6th, they'll play Jamaica. So Canada is going to play in Puerto Rico on February the 26th and March the 1st in Jamaica as well. So we do have some games this week for Team Canada. It's like Kyle Whitmer and those kind of guys, Bediako. It's like the Canadian national C team. It's not even to the point where it's like Melvin Ejim or the Scrub Brothers. It's like it's even like Aaron Best is going to be there. Kyle Whitmer, Bediako, Charles Bediako. So yeah, I guess they got a game against Puerto Rico in Puerto Rico in 3 days. But that's kind of cool. So note, guys, if you want to see the Jamaican national team, because I know we have Jamaica fans here, they will be playing Team Canada on July the 6th in Hamilton in FIBA World Cup action. So check that out. FIBA World Cup qualifier action. Yeah. So very, very cool. Very, 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 very cool right there. So yeah, that's the latest breaking news right there. Raptors Redditor of the day is Aggressive Ad 7946. And they have a question. I like answering questions for Redditors sometimes. So this is the question of the day from Reddit, from Aggressive Ad 7946. Can you go close to courtside during warm-up? And this person's asking because they're going to the game tomorrow for Oklahoma City. And it sounds like somebody wants to go and get SGA's autograph. I'm going to tell everybody that goes to Raptors games, don't try and go and meet the players. Everybody thinks that they could just walk to the arena and go up to the players and interact with them. You're crazy. You're not supposed to do that. They don't want you to do that. If you have a grand design in your head that you're going to just go down there and become friends with SGA because you can talk to him, just stuff that and don't do it because they're not going to let you. First of all, I would ask you, where are your seats? If you're in the 300 level, there's no damn way you're getting close to the court side. There's no way. If you're down in the 100 level, there's even a big chance you're not going to be able to go courtside too, because most of the seats at courtside, most of the seats on the 100 level don't have to go courtside. And the ushers will look at your tickets and say, no, you can't come down here. You can't come down here to courtside. Unless your seats are courtside and you have to go down there to get in your seats, you're not getting to courtside. Okay, fans? If you're trying to come to the Raptors game to come and interact with the Raptors or the other team, you should not do that. And you should not have plans to try and do that. If you're one of the lucky few that gets to sit next to the entryway and you can dangle a jersey over the edge and they will stop and sign it, okay, that's one thing. But that's why those tickets are special. And you have to pay a lot to have those tickets right next to the entryway so you can dangle your jerseys and your hats, and they might stop and sign something. If you think you can get the game early enough and come in when they open the doors immediately and walk down the arena stairs to the court and talk to the players, you're crazy. You are crazy. Some of the security guys like Mike will say, no, what are you doing down here? You can't be down here. They will tell you to get the fuck away from the court. They have very strong security, and they don't want the players interacting with the fans. And the players are busy. They're trying to shoot around and stretch and get ready for the game, and they're not down there to sign autographs before the game, y'all. So people that come to Raptors games, if you're trying to meet Scotty, you're trying to meet SGA, give it up. The best way to meet these guys is to go to events that are outside of games, that are like a meet and greet or an autograph session at Yorkdale Mall or a Subway pop-up event. That's the best way to meet these people and get pictures taken with them or autographs. It's not at the games. Unless you're in that entryway and you're right close and you can hand it to them, and that's it. They don't even want to take pictures with you guys because it takes too long. Some of the players will do shoot arounds, and if there's somebody sitting at courtside and they want a picture real quick, they'll do it. But for the most part, anybody who has designs on this coming to Toronto, coming from the city into the game, you just can't do this. You know, there may have been a time when you're younger that you could do something like this, because this is what this guy's saying. Going to the OKC game on Tuesday. Haven't been to a Raptors game live since Andrea Bargnani, Chris Bosh, and Rookie DeMar. Just wondering if you could go close to courtside during warmups, since I vividly remember being able to do that. See you all there. Thanks. Yeah, I don't think you could have done that then either. What were you doing? Just standing there watching them? Like, what the fuck? What do you expect? I'm just saying, anybody who thinks that they can get access to the players just by going to the game, just stop. They don't want you trying to get access to them. They have business to do. They're there to win the basketball games. And they're not there to sign autographs and take pictures with people. So get over yourself. That's what I'm saying right there. Don't be a distraction. Don't be a distraction. That's right. That's right. All right, let me keep going with my tabs. I got more to do. Quick, let's see. We got the classic card. Let's get on that right now. Just a note, yesterday was Goran Dragic, and the points awarded to Slug Deezy for getting Goran Dragic were 7, the number of his jersey. He's worthless. So it's just a little bit of points, Slug Deezy. It's not like you need the points because you're up there. You're second on the list. So, all right, this is a tough one. This is going to be a little bit of an advanced classic card for you guys today. This is not easy. So let's see how you do. I will give you guys some guesses or some clues after some guesses. So this is a Spurs player, and this player wears 25 apparently. And this is not a recent card. This is a card from 1992. So yeah, we're talking about 30-year card here. Let's see if anybody can get it. This is also a test to see if my stream's still working, if y'all are still here. Jerome Kersey, Slug Deezy. That's a good guess. This is not a forward. This is a guard. And I guess I'll give you my best guess to here. David Wingate. Whoa! He did it. He got it. How did you know, man? That is David Wingate of Dunbar High School, teammate of Reggie Williams and Muggsy Bogues in high school. These guys were high school teammates in Baltimore. And that's pretty freaking cool, man. You got David Wingate. That's not even an easy picture to see who he is. But you got it. There's original Raptor, Alvin Robertson, trying to steal a ball from David Wingate there. And so kind of a weird picture. But yeah, David Wingate is the answer. And I am super impressed with this. That wasn't a good angle to see that from. Now, I'm going to wonder if Reggie has this card. And that's why he kind of knows who it is. He might have that set, and that actually might be why he knew it. That's impressive, though. Seriously, Slug Deezy, that was a good guess. Jerome Kersey, but it was David Wingate. Wow. You know, I was thinking about this last night and watching Immanuel working with Brandon last night because, you know, they were kind of, you know, Scotty's not there. In some ways, the leadership was Brandon and IQ on the court along with RJ. But you know what? There's a lot of bond between Immanuel and Brandon. They have a lot in common. They're both mid-Atlantic guys that come from the same area of United States. There, you know, you got a guy from Virginia and a guy from Maryland, and that's the mid-Atlantic. That's the mid-Atlantic territory for old wrestling with Crockett, you know, Greensboro Coliseum, Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, all that. Well, it's like Allen Iverson world. It's like, you know, you got Brandon and Immanuel have similar backgrounds because they come from a similar part of the country. And they probably have a lot in common because of that, guys. So when I was seeing Ingram and Quickley kind of communicate on the court last night, I was thinking about that all of a sudden. I was like, man, these guys actually have a lot in common. They're from Mid-Atlantic, and that's a part of it. All right, 200 points for David Wingate. That's a hard card. I'm really impressed that the Smooth Brown Man got that with like just the picture. I didn't even really give Major on the clues there. I guess you can kind of see his face there. Kind of see it right there. Rocket Killer, Georgetown Man, Rocket Killer. Yeah. Yeah, and you remember that card from your youth. So you did have this card. He had this card 30 years ago, and he's like, man, I remember that card. I had that card in my set, my upper deck set. That's awesome. I mean, that is a way to get the classic card, is if you actually owned it at some point, you might recognize it. Yeah, and I realized that's part of the reason why Slug Deasy is the king of the classic card, because he revealed to us that he did have a basketball card collection back in the day. So, but either way, I love that. I love that. And I love this segment. Honestly, Trevor, once again, thank you for sending the classic cards. Trevor J sends them to me in the mail, guys. And I appreciate this segment. I think this segment has been one of the best segments on our channel for a few years now. And it's just kind of fun. I know you guys look forward to it at the end of the show. And a lot of y'all stick around for it. And I like that. I appreciate that. All right, let's wrap it up. We're over 2 hours. 2 hours, 15 minutes. If you guys don't have anything else to say, last chance to call. You want to call me. It is kind of late. I kind of want the rule, call me in the 10 o'clock hour, but it's either way, it's all right. Stars of the game against the Bucks yesterday. Immanuel Quickley, obviously the chain winner, and just off the chain and just awesomeness. Immanuel, number 1 star of the game yesterday against the Bucks. Brandon Ingram, star number 2. Jamal Shed, 3rd star. Sandro Mamukelashvili, 4th star, and Jakob Poeltl is my 5th star. And I'll give an honorable mention to Colin Murray-Boyles for the game yesterday. And that's my 5 stars of the game. Thank you for the W stream, Fiercey. And tomorrow I'll be back 9:30 a.m. as Dependent Bull as always. And coming in, if you guys don't see me show up, something is wrong. Let's just put it that way. I won't say that. I don't want anything to go wrong or have anything like that. But you guys know I'm super dependable. And that if I am absent, something is wrong. Let's just put it that way. So 9:30 tomorrow, I'll have the pregame setup for the Oklahoma City Thunder at Toronto Raptors tomorrow night, along with a preview of the Raptors 905 at College Park Skyhawks in the first of 2 games that they're playing this week against them also. All the pertinent information, the referee report, and the latest lineup news. Let's go Raptors. Good job getting the birthday win for Darko yesterday. What a fun game to watch. Raptors games are a lot of fun to watch right now, aren't they, Raptors fans? So remember that and maybe hold your critiques for right now. And when they have another game where they lose, well, and that's inevitable, we'll look at why and we'll talk about it then. But if they're getting W's, no reason to come at people with the microscope science lab is what I have to say. All right, let's go Raptors. And Chris Boucher, seriously consider Montreal Lions. Why not? It makes sense. You want to keep playing? Well, let's keep playing. Let's play in Canada.